Everyone to the Archon Team League Championships. I am Nox. I'll be your host for the day. We're on to phase 2 of the whole thing. Casting with me today is going to be Amaz. How are you doing, sir?
Oh man, this is going to be so exciting. I had a great stream just now, but this is really the highlight of today, right? We're gonna see Tempo Storm facing off against Nihilum first, and this is the winners match, which we're gonna have the good news first. One team is going to advance to the finale directly, which is going to be at September 11th to 13 in the Archon team house, of course. And then we have a little bit of bad news later on with Force and Boys versus Archon. Both of them will not make it to finale, and one of them will have their dreams pretty much crushed.
Yeah, so I have a question for you because I had to catch up on this. The whole format doesn't allow the players to switch their decks at this point, right? Or can they switch between yesterday and today?
So yeah, in phase 2, none of the decks can be changed. And it was pretty cool because we didn't know when I typed the rules out in June or something, because it was really early on, right? The league started in July. I did not know when TGT was actually going to be announced, right? And it happened to land right before phase 2, so that was actually pretty brutal. Where if they actually came up with a bad deck, well, they have to stick with it until the end of phase 2. So
yeah, we saw Sixto have a little bit of a tough run with his secret deck. We're hoping it's gonna go better for him. You know, when he faces off against Force and Boys. You know, it's been a pretty rough streak for him.
I mean, we do see kind of some weird decks too, right? I mean, we have Tempo Storm's Eloise bring the Fist of Juraxis deck, right? I mean, if that doesn't work well, you can't change it up. And of course, sometimes when you play a new deck, you go like, oh, what if I made this modification? It'll make the deck so much better. But
yeah. But you can't do it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if it didn't turn out to work out in the past few days, and it's not going to work today. Now the first match we're going to have is Tempo Storm versus Nihilum. Now before we move on, a quick shout out to all the sponsors. We've got the partnership with Alpha Draft. If you guys want to check them out, you can check them out at alphadraft.com, esports fantasy league. You know, they give away $300,000 in prizes each week. So for a share of that, you can subscribe over there. And Amazon App Store is also doing a promotion for Hearthstone card packs. You can check them out for a chance to get a 50% discount on 40 card packs. You can check them out on teamarchon.com/Amazon or amazon.com/Hearthstone. Now, I think we have a recap video to actually show what the people who might need a little bit of a follow-up before we move onwards to the gameplay. Right. So you guys can watch that. We'll be right back to hop into the action. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the video. Is the Doom Guard. Sixto, you know, he did react. He was pretty focused.
Yeah.
Attacking to something might matter. And turns out he just wants to go face and is that. Oh my god, the blowout.
Oh, so well. He played it. Yeah. We saw no win condition for him anymore. And
he's like out of steam. And he has Hellfire Healbot next turn.
Oh,
wow! Oh my god, the top decks are real.
Look at that RD.
This is a silly day.
Yeah. This is crazy. This is just, I don't know.
It's like, can we get like Shia LaBeouf on a green screen saying that? And...
Front.
Whoa! Oh, there it is. There's the reaction.
Yeah, you're right. That could have actually.
Oh, he's hoping for the concede. He's agonizing Trump. Well played. Well played.
Yeah, like you were.
That's it.
And Kiara's gonna concede it, and Value
Triple bench
goes for the crazy reverse sweep. Alex has to die.
No way. We already saw one Doomsayer today. Not possible.
Okay. Oh my god!
It's just barely short, right? Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. That's gotta be hard.
Oh, no matter what. The thing is, if the Doom Guard comes out, you're forcing Shadow Word Death, in which case Cabal is a bit less.
Which is fine.
It's a bit of a misplay. Yeah. Miss one damage. You could have traded the abusive first, but he's trading anyway.
Yeah, you got it.
Actually, no, he healed a minion, so if it hit for 6.
Ooh.
Only needs to confuse him.
Oh, man.
He's one off.
Oh, and that one missed damage actually cost him the game.
All right, so we saw a few highlights of the entire Archon Team League. You know, all those Grim Patron lethals. I think we had quite a few of those with the massive OTKs. I think that's pretty standard. So we're going to move on to Temple Storm versus Nihilum. So I'm expecting some standard lists. You know, we saw the decks already for some of those players. There's really nothing out of the ordinary just yet, even after TGT, because if you look at all the cards that were released, there are probably some sleeping decks out there, right? Like, we're so close after the release that it's going to be really hard for all the players to have theory crafted everything to the maximum. So we're still in the learning phase, and they're not going to be too adventurous in a format like the Archon Team League, hopefully, because if the deck doesn't work, as you said, I mean, that's $250,000 potentially that you're kind of losing out on, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end, you can't really blame the players for bringing Patron Warrior. I mean, it's tried, it's tested, it's just optimized so well, like you said. And this is one of the biggest tournament, if not the biggest tournament, right? It shares the prize pool of BlizzCon, and bringing home not only the prize pool but the title is definitely like a big achievement for 2015. So yeah, let's go with what you know. And well, we did see one deck that got pretty punished yesterday with the 6-0 Paladin secret list, but he did misplay a little bit. If he actually played, you know, the blessing correctly on the mini bot, maybe things would have been different. But who knows? Right now, we will see one team go through the finale with Temple Storm and Nihilum. These are 6 games that they definitely want to win.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I want to say there's got to be something about Nihilum because they were at the top of the brackets for the entirety of Archon Team League, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly in the last 2 weeks, the worst case scenarios happened back to back. Like, nothing could have gone worse for them. They ended in the redemption phase. They got out of it. Now they're in the winner's game. So if they're able to make it today, at least they're going to feel pretty satisfied because it almost looked like the tournament might have been stolen, you know, from under their feet just about a week ago.
Yeah, it's actually a roller coaster ride for Nihilum, right? I actually, in the last week, if they actually won their game, they would have been first place, but they lost their game and they went to 6th place. So looking back at phase 1, it's actually so important for each team to play their matches like super importantly, right? Because every match does count.
Yeah.
Temple Storm, on the other hand, they actually did really poorly at the start, and then they did really well. And they actually managed to finish in the 3rd to 5th place there. So that's pretty cool as well. It's just phase 1 is pretty wild. Now that I look back at it, it's just you think that the matches don't really matter, right? It's just 7 weeks of like scrimming.
Yeah, but it's absolutely false.
Seeds.
Like, it's
yeah exactly.
Right. I just wonder though, like, because right now we're still, you know, very early after TGT. You know, in the latest phases of the event, well, the last phase, of course, the finale. If people will have brought new decks, because there's quite a long time between right now and the finale. They've got about 2 weeks, I think, to start theory crafting and polishing some of their potential new ideas. And there's a lot of them out there. You know, people have come up with about 100 different decks. They have to trim them, you know, make sure that the unnecessary cards are, you know, removed and some of the better ones are included, modifications to existing ideas. You know, are some decks simply going to be phased out? You know, some of the decks that we already know just completely replaced as a result of TGT. And players have a lot of work to do, and the teams aren't exactly huge. Like, you have teams with a few players having to go through all this process within 2 weeks for the grand finals. I'm pretty excited to see how that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a mess of you know, figuring out the right decks to bring. I mean, you do have your core sets, right? I mean, right now it seems like Hunter, Warrior, those are always going to be brought, but the other ones are just a mess. Like Mages, oh sure, Freeze Mage is like really strong in this format, but then is Temple Mage just better in a lot of matchups? And are players just going to bring 6 decks to counter Freeze Mage? You know, 6 very fast, aggressive decks, or Control Warrior instead of Patron. And Patron Warrior does deal pretty good with Freeze Mage as well. So I'm pretty sure that some decks will remain about and around. You know, you're always going to see that Zoo deck. You're always going to see that, you know, random Priest deck.
Right.
But who knows what the best one is?
Yeah, well, speaking of Freeze Mage, I think Thies possibly is bringing it, right? Like, I'm not entirely sure if that's the list he's running. I just never have seen Thies play anything but Freeze, and he plays it very well. I was listening to him recently speaking about Freeze Mage, and some people have been mentioning Malygos, right? How to include Malygos in Freeze Mage as an additional win condition, and Thies actually dislikes it a lot. He doesn't see the point of bringing Malygos if you can just play Pyroblast.
Yeah, it seems
And-
like Malygos is only a tech card against certain matchups. I mean, if you play Malygos against a Freeze Mage, that's insane. They don't have removal.
Right.
So 412 just sits there and you basically win the game. Another good matchup would be like, either Control Warrior or Patron Warrior, where usually you kind of run out of damage and you run out of steam. And with Malygos, you can actually have that. Not only do you have like enough damage to kill them off, you also have that third minion where they only run 2 executes, right? So Antonidas, Alexstrasza, they usually die, but then the Malygos, or at least another order of them, actually manages to stick around. But here we go. First game is going to be between Eloise on Paladin, and we know that Eloise is playing kind of like the Murloc. Murloc
Yeah, well, the Murloc
Paladin
Knight,
thing.
yeah, the
Yeah,
whole,
exactly.
well, it's a mid-range paladin that's a little bit more on the zoo side. It feels like a zoo deck sometimes when you see it come out on curve, and you're like, sometimes mid-range paladin did that, right? Mid-range paladin already had that zoo feeling to it when you got Knife Juggler into Minibot into Muster for Battle, and that was like those games sometimes you just couldn't take. But with a Murloc Knight, like that card, a lot of people, when they looked at it, they said, "Oh, it's a Murloc deck card." No, it's not. It's everything but a Murloc deck card. It's perfect for any archetype for Paladins, just because it's such high value on its own. It's Inspire, Spawn, synergistic cards from a 1/1 to like a 2/5 that makes you draw cards. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And I don't think anybody rated Murloc Knight as their top 5 or top 10 card, right? I think it's like a sleeper. The best sleeper card in Paladin that nobody thought was going to be good. But here, Eloise actually decided to coin a Knife Juggler. You only really get counted by 1 card in Freeze Mage, and Taish is exactly that. And Taish is pretty much off to a very good start. Eloise also has the Owl, though. That's going to be a very important factor in this matchup.
Yeah, the Owl allowing you to counter the Doomsayers. Some people tend to use them on Mad Scientists, but it's very, unless you're going to push for lethal, almost immediately, it's very often not worth it, especially as Paladin, because you're so reliant on getting that board and keeping it. It's kind of like, this is a situation where you want to use the Iron Beak, but it's a sacrifice in the future when you get your board frozen or removed.
Yeah, I mean, Eloise is gonna use the out immediately and deny some card draw, and Taj's hand looks really, really clunky. I think cycling the Stalnos would maybe be a good thing.
Yeah, I think he'll see that. I mean, Thais is a very experienced Freeze Mage player. He knows when he's just got to push for cycle. Like, Thalnos isn't even that good for spell damage purposes. What makes it better in Thais' case is very often the fact that he's always running Cone of Cold. Not everybody runs it, but it's such a good card, and Thais always has the one in his deck.
Yeah, some players believe that Cone of Cold might be a bit too expensive, but then Taj thinks that an extra Frost Nova that costs a little bit more expensive might be very helpful in the mid game.
Now, do you go for that Cone of Cold play? Because you could kill the Shredder right now. Because she didn't kill the Thalnos, you're getting a kill in the Shredder if you want it.
Well, yeah, the game plan of Freeze Mage is just to stall as much as possible, right? So we could actually see a Cone of Cold and just Taj not killing the Shredder off, because if you kill the Shredder, it effectively gets unfrozen, right?
Yeah.
So, well, he's just going to
That's a pretty good
and just
play.
save his freeze for later. There's not too much pressure as well. It's only 4 power on the board.
Yeah, and that Murloc Knight, so people consider the Murloc Knight a 4-drop, but when you really think about it, you never played before 6. You almost never played before 6, unless you're 100% sure it's going to get off the effect, because otherwise it's just a bad spider tank. Well, it's not a bad one, but it's just a spider tank you're paying 1 mana extra for, so the threat of the extra 1/1s might be worth it.
But here is actually not that bad, because like it actually demands a response. And Freeze Mage is kind of like one of the weirder decks where you don't really want to clear minions too much. But yeah, Atasha is going to be forced to clear off the Murloc Knight here. It's just representing too much of a board.
Yeah, well, it's the scariest card. It's the absolute scariest card, I think, in Paladin nowadays. And the worst part is, you're afraid of it, and you're afraid of Quartermaster, and you're afraid of all the 1/1s. You're afraid of everything now in Pally. Like, I'm afraid of every single card they play.
Oh man.
Murloc Knight just scares me that much.
Paladins definitely got some love. And like we said before, Taj is gonna leave the Shredder frozen, so it can attack. If you attack, it does get unfrozen in a sense.
Good pickup by Eloise there, though. Gonna wipe the board.
Yeah, unfortunately,
doesn't
you're
mind.
not putting up any pressure, so it's not even that good. It's gonna be tough for Eloise in this game.
And Thijs has another round of healing. He picks up the Alex already. Let's see what comes out of this. What if?
Just a normal 3-2. Now Tash actually pinged the Shredder off because he's going to use the Frost Nova Doomsayer next turn so that he can actually clear the board. If he didn't ping that, then you know, there's like less options if Eloise decides to play another Death Rider, for example.
Yeah. And Eloise here killed the heal bot because she knows that if she doesn't, there's a chance that it smashes itself into Dr. Boom and then Flame Strike takes the board away. So Dr. Boom, she's hoping is going to stick and deal some damage, but it's not looking very likely from Thijs' perspective.
Wow, double heal bot, man. Tash is really respecting the the aggro matchup.
Is Thijs just not going to Nova?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, never
He's
mind.
gonna do it. He's gonna do it. She's gonna,
I was a bit curious.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, so ping the Boombot here guarantees that. Well, what does it guarantee?
Well,
Okay, if he silences his own Dr. Boom or the Doomsayer, then at least you've got something removed.
yeah, I guess you always just want to clear the
guess.
board. I mean, Alex Strauss next turn anyways, right? So, might as well. This is the weirdest Alex Strauss I've ever seen. You have no turn in your
Right.
hand, but that's the only play. Now, this is actually a very good Tuskar Jouster turn. Let's see if we can take it. There's only
Yeah, with-
Tinnitus. That's a really big card.
An Emperor, right? There's like two cards that are like, oh wow,
Just
what a
right.
crazy outcome here. The two mad scientists had already been played. The Acolyte of Ping #1. There was like one card that lost the joust. Oh man, I just can't like that. Little unfortunate for him, but I guess that's what happens. I mean, the amount of healing that Paladin can put together if they want now is pretty insane. And for that, to that effect, I have a question for you. Like Tuskar Jouster versus Healbot. There's a debate about it, of course, because they accomplish pretty much the same function. If you're gonna run one of Healbot, will you run one of Jouster, even though you might win a lot less consistently because it's a 5/5?
Well, theoretically, it's actually an insane card, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're against an aggro deck, usually you're facing against a lot of low-cost minions, and you're gonna get the healing because Joust is gonna have a larger chance. And against like a control deck, you want the 5/5 body more than you want the heal, anyways, right?
Yeah.
So theoretically, it should be really good, but sometimes you really need that clutch heal, and you don't get it, and you might be asking yourself, why didn't I play heal bot?
All right, well that's about. I think that's the general consensus.
Alright. So I still think Tuskar Jouster is better than Anti-Killbot overall, just because like you have like flexibility. The only flexibility cards right now I compare it to like a Cruel Taskmaster, where you can actually enable more damage or you can clear one health
A
creature.
1/1, right?
Yeah. So this is like another flex card, and those are always really, really strong.
I kind of like that. That's a great comparison. You can use it for two different purposes because there's no way you're going to go offensive with a heal bot.
Right.
So Eloise here probably thinks her board is forfeit. Like there's no way this board is going to stick. If everything's going to getting pinged, whatever she plays is likely to just get removed. And stealing that 1/8 isn't exactly a great plan, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're not really scared of, there's some tricky play with Sylvanas, and then if your Freeze Mage plays a Doomsayer and fireballs your Sylvanas and takes it, it doesn't really matter now because
Right.
Tash is only sitting 4 cards, and he didn't even cycle last turn, so this is probably just like a dead hand.
Yeah, throw everything and hope it sticks.
Yep.
If it does, then great. If it doesn't, well, too bad.
Still looking really, really good for Eloise.
I think if Thijs picks up an Arcane Intellect, this could turn around.
Yeah, anything that cycles would be good, like even an Accolade of Pain.
Yeah, anything that draws, basically. He's got 12 cards, so that's 3 cards left in his deck that can draw him. He's thinned, secrets out with Mad Scientist. So it's a miracle that he hasn't picked up one of those cycle cards yet.
It is kind of crazy that the bottom 12 cards are like, what, double Fireballs, double Frostbolts.
Yeah, it's
your
everything he's been
Pyroclast.
looking for to finish the game, pretty much. Yeah.
That's just Frost Nova here does heal you for like effectively 13. So
3 mana, heal 13. Not
Yeah.
quite the healing wave, but hey, we're getting there. Oh man.
Yeah, this is tough. I guess you kind of want to deal with the board as well, so let's do that. Oh wow,
That's a threat.
that is a very good card.
And Mage has absolutely no good way to deal with it. I mean, Thais, even if he pings the shield off and attacks with Heal Bot and Flame Strike pings, like he can clear everything. That's not the issue. It's just that the 5/5 weapon is really dangerous.
I think it's one of the problems when you run 2 heal bots, right? You have to cut something, and it might have been one of those cycle cards. And this is
So
like,
cut 1 Arcane Intellect and
oh, you don't cut Arcane Intellect, can you?
well, what's the cycle? There's 2 Acolytes.
Maybe there's like, well, we saw Taish play a Loot Hoarder, did we? Like usually that's kind of
you're
like the flex slot.
right.
But like maybe people have been usually only running 1, but when you run 2, your deck is like a bit more consistent.
Yeah.
Taish just respects the aggro matchup a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, I think going into this phase, maybe he expected more aggression because honestly, the ladder has been plagued with aggro. Like in the first 2 days of TGT, it was just pure aggro. So maybe he thought, I'm gonna have to deal with a lot more of that, and so he prepared accordingly. But it turns out that people at the higher ranks don't necessarily respect or believe in aggro as much as maybe in the earlier stages.
Exactly. Well, Taish believes that pushing 1 damage is more important than removing 5 damage here.
Might get punished for that.
I mean, the thing is like, Eloise is thinking right now whether that 1 damage is relevant or not. Because at the same time, you do need to kill your freeze mage opponent before they kills you. This game really goes to fatigue.
It's actually surprising because usually the paladin is the one who's just guaranteed to lose. Alex Straza comes down and you just win right away, like as a freeze mage. But the hand from Thais was so clunky. You know, you said it was the weirdest Alex Straza you'd ever seen. And I think it was. I really think this is like obviously the weirdest Alex Straza. Like it did nothing. There was no pressure from it. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Well, this Alex Straza is really following the rules.
Oh god.
Alright. Yep. Eloise agrees with the aggressive play. And well,
That actually could do it. But now for not killing, if you're gonna do that, you have to kill Alex. You can't give him the Archmage, right?
exactly. So yeah, that's a little bit.
You might have to freeze Sylvanas.
Yeah, you're gonna Ice Lance Sylvanas, and you're probably gonna Ice Lance the
Face.
the face would be good, so that you can actually remove the board.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just get 2 fireballs here. And Tasha's suddenly looking like is whoa!
Double fireball ping. This guy is hopeful that everything's gonna work out, but that's a guaranteed steal with.
Yeah, Tasha's just gonna give up his Antonidas. That is really cool. Alright then.
Thais believes in the top decks.
Alright, Eloise.
You know what though? I kind of like this because he knows if he gets 1 Frostbolt with the fireballs, he wins. And if he picks up Pyroblast, he can probably win. And he's got the other Ice Block to live another round of turns.
Okay.
So I kind of understand the reasoning, and I'm not against it, considering you know you're about to draw your entire deck. It's either Arcane Intellect top deck, which are going to give you the card draw you need to find that lethal, or you're going to top deck the burn directly, which again gives you the lethal. So I think Thais playing the odds here, definitely a good play. But we'll see if, you know, there's still a potential to backfire here. There's definitely a potential for this entire thing to backfire.
There is, but then we still haven't seen like Arcane Intellect at all. We still haven't seen a single burn spell at all. Those 2 fireballs are not Tron, so there's still 2 fireballs in the deck.
He's almost got to find it now though, because if he can find burn, he can't wait for it. Like he can't. It needs to be Pyroblast or Frostbolt.
All right, what is it?
Let it not be Arcane Intellect. This could be the losing play.
Oh! Wow! Talk about deck cards.
Full face. Draw the Doomsayer.
Yep.
Hope it does something.
Just gotta go full face. I mean.
But I think on average, his top decks give him lethal.
That's true. Yeah, on average.
On average,
like,
actually, Arcane Intellect.
Arcane Intellects, Frostbolts, Fireballs.
What I like about the ping here over the second Fireball is that he can actually still get lethal if his opponent goes for a True Cyber heal.
Yeah.
Whereas if he didn't ping here, he was actually going to be one off.
That is true. That ping was pretty important.
I really like Thais playing Freeze Mage. He's such a great player.
All right. Well, Eloise is gonna do what she can to reduce Taj to 1 life, and then proc the block. But it seems like Taj has 2 draws, right? If he actually messes up on this draw, he gets an ice block and gets.
Yeah, he's got one more chance. I don't know if there's a low tab in Eloise's list, but I doubt it.
Well, I mean,
Even
you
that
have to
would've-
do the dude here is very important not to play a hero power. And oh, that is.
Dice
brutal.
is bricking on every street, but he's guaranteed lethal for the next turn if he can just not give Eloise any health.
no help.
Yeah, no health. And you know
Dodge
what's
the
funny?
Lay on Hands, dodge the Huskar Jouster, dodge the antique heal bot.
Dodge everything.
All right, what's this gonna be? And oh
my god!
oh,
Eloise
man. Oh,
breathing
look,
a
Eloise.
sigh of
Look at
relief.
his face. Okay.
Oh, she's like, I can't believe I got
Top
this.
deck.
But Thais is gonna top deck, right? It's just gonna be a counter top deck.
No, it might be just a. It's just a. What could it be? It could be Ice Barrier, and it'll be like just terrible.
No, don't say that, Amaz. Don't say that. Don't say
Ice
that.
Barrier, and
Oh my!
oh, brutal! Absolutely. Brutal.
Amaz, you are responsible for this loss, and Nihilum would hold it against you for the rest of your life. Do you even know what you did here?
Oh wait, how many cards? 7 cards. So 2 fireballs, 2 frost,
Two Frost Bolts, 2 Arcane Intellects, 1 Acolyte of Pain.
1 Acolyte. So that was the only card
Yeah.
that worked. Oh
Maybe
my-
Acolyte with like a single ping that drew into Ice Barrier. But the
Hello.
odds of this not working were like 1 in like 7, like, or 8. He had almost no chances of losing this. He played it perfectly, but Eloise needed exactly that card. Oh man.
Eloise top decked the True Silver, and Taj top decked exactly the wrong card. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like, wow.
This is just this must feel really bad. But then again, well played by Thais. One thing we can say is that he's played that match, I think, considering the card draw that he had or the draw that he got, he navigated this very well, and he was almost guaranteed the win if it wasn't for that True Silver or possibly a Lay on Hands top deck by Eloise. Oh man, I still can't believe
Oh.
Tuskar Jouster winning the joust, low chances.
Oh man, absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Everything worked out for Eloise there. So Temple Storm is going to be on the board for, and the Paladin is going to be through. I think they're going to be pretty excited about that because considering that, you know, Paladin might be considered one of the, you know, weaker classes. I mean, it's a strong class, but, you know, you got the Patriot
Yeah.
Warrior and the Hunters. You know, those are kind of like the core classes. So definitely a good win for them. And Nihilum, well, if they sanitize again, they might have to face the bench rule where if a player loses 2 games in a row, they actually are benched and cannot play in any further series until they until a teammate wins a game for them.
Yeah, so what's interesting is when you've got like the druid lined up with Hyped here, he really wants to pick off something like a freeze mage. So if Thais goes out, if Temple Storm expects that, they might just queue the druid in. Other than that, I don't know if I'd really like to pit the druid against anything at the moment. I mean, I guess Darnassus Aspirant has made druid a bit more consistent and powerful than it was, as weird as that might sound. It's kind of nice to see that the classes might go from, I wouldn't say lower tier, because, you know, it's a great deck, but it's somewhat inconsistent. We've seen it in the Archon Team League. In its current iteration, pre-TGT, it was a bit lacking. And now with the Darnassus Aspirant, I suspect the class will come back on top. Maybe it's giving it a bit of a better matchup against the field, and so you're happier to just, you know, throw it out there as opposed to try to target Freeze Mage.
It's pretty cool how one card, the Darnassus Aspirant, makes Druid lists so different, right? We see Chill and Yetis coming back in the game. We see Violet Teachers, right? So the Darnassus Aspirant actually makes 4 drops much more juicy for the Druid players. It's really cool, just one card changing up the whole deck.
So do you think we'll see like Chillwind Yetis coming back? Just
Well,
because
Hype
of
is using
Darnassus
the
Aspirant?
Violet Teacher list.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yep, and Sixo is using the Chill and Yeti list. So it's pretty cool that you know, even with 4 drops, people have like different opinions on which one is the better card. But Hyped's Warrior is gonna face against Ardew's Hunter now, and Hyped is playing Patron Warrior, and Ardew is playing the you know, the more mid range. Oh, actually no, it was more of the hybrid Hunter, but it was very, very aggressive. I think it was like very similar to Chalky's.
Yeah, that's pretty much the rule of hybrid. I think nowadays, like, there are hybrids that err on the slower side, but most of the time you see them just push phase very frequently and fast, which is one of the ways I think that makes. I think you can abuse that in Hunter very well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that deck stick around. If we ever see a lock and load hunter, I think it'll take a lot of refinement for it to really see the day.
Well,
So
this
it's
is
a bit early for it.
looking at this starting hand. RDU seems like he has exactly what he wants. We're at a 1-drop and the mad scientist, but Hyped actually taking in that cruel taskmaster. It's gonna punish the 1-health creature quite well.
Yeah, I mean, Cruel Taskmaster doesn't get much better than that as a starting hand. I guess you're looking for Fiery War Axe still at this point. Do you keep Emperor Thorson? In Patron Warrior, it's one of the key cards to just getting an auto win, but against a Hunter, maybe you're looking for something a bit faster, right?
Well, it seems like against Hunter, you're gonna survive if you get past turn 7, right? It's like you gotta. It's all pure survival mode. And looking at Hype's hand, that is just one of the best. Already picked up a Leopard Gnome, which is kind of perfect. You can save the Abusive for later, but yeah, this Taskmaster is gonna be pretty bad news.
Yeah, the worst part about the Taskmaster is that its Battle Cry is good, but what's even better is the fact that it's gonna trade 2 for 1 guaranteed. Like, unless you have a Glaive Zuka, and if you Glaive Zuka on turn 2 without a minion on the board as a hybrid or face hunter, you hate life. So every play you make following this is usually excruciating.
Yeah, you can see that RDU is already very in a very uncomfortable situation, just based on that one very easy play.
And it's not about to get better either. Like, this is...
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Fire War Axis for days.
Yep. And if I remember correctly, RDU is only playing 2 Freezings.
Alright, so that's already going to be one of them out of the way without a bow equipped. And it's going to give him another Cruel Taskmaster activation if he's looking for it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 4 mana Cruel Taskmaster doesn't seem like the best in a lot of situations, but against a Hunter where you have a lot of targets. There you go.
RD is wondering, how do I win against the Fiery War Axe after a Cruel Taskmaster on my turn 1 Leopard Gnome?
Oh my god. This
Nice
is-
minion you got there.
Yeah. Well, 24 health doesn't really mean much to a warrior, because like against priest and against warrior, those are only the 2 matches where life is the exact number, right? I mean, 24 is not counting down to 22 and 20. It's gonna stay at 24 unless you do something to them.
Yeah, there's 2 classes against Hunter that do that, basically. And with Justicar True Heart, I'm hoping we see a bit more of the reverse, where Hunter's trying to wear you down and you just keep getting health. That's pretty good. Alright, so I think the fact that Acolyte, the Abusive Sergeant, and Hero Power last turn were played, does that indicate there was no bow in the hand? Or does that indicate that he just simply wanted to weave in more Hero Powers?
Well, of course, it indicates that you do not have a turn 3 play, because abusive is deal 2 damage, right? And if
So
you
if you
play with
waste it-
nothing, it becomes a vanilla 2-1, and you never want to do that. So yeah, definitely hints that. Speaking of Justicar True Heart, did you
Right.
think that Blizzard think that it was too insane with Hunters and didn't give them double hero power?
Yeah, I think that's what happened, because if I actually tried out Justicar in the lock and load deck,
Right.
and she's pretty good at 3, but if she was 4, the deck I think might be pushed over the top. Just because of it, like the inevitability of the hero power hits everyone. And if they don't have Justicar, you win pretty much every time.
Actually, if we look at it another way, Justicar can only increase 1 damage in damage dealing classes, right? So
Yeah,
Druid gets 1
always,
attack,
always.
Mage gets 1 more attack, so Hunter I guess gets 1 more attack. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the goal. I think they didn't want people to push for damage. It's mostly a defensive card, it feels.
Yeah.
Oh man, hyped with the hand. That's
Yeah,
a
Ardu's hand just
good
looks
hand.
so terrible right now. Hype can just like, do whatever he wants, like do his own strategy. Usually you don't really want to play 4-drops, because every time you play a 4-drop, effectively you're paying 2 life.
Yeah, because you're guaranteed to lose that extra armor that you would have otherwise gotten.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Oh my
well,
god.
so this is pretty bad.
Yeah, you don't say.
But is there a chance for RDU to... RDU's face tells the story.
Yeah.
This face is saying everything we've got on our minds right now, which is...
Best face.
Oh, poor RDU. Oh, man. Nihilum is not having a good day so far.
Yeah.
But it's just the beginning of the day, right? Like, let's not get tilted too much just yet.
Uh-huh.
Not yet. There's still a chance, RDU.
I think the only saving
Oh.
grace for RDU is that in patron decks, usually you cut armor smiths for taskmasters, so that you can actually do a little bit more combo stuff with like taskmastering your acolyte, taskmastering your patron warrior for like effectively 7 damage, right? Spawns a new patron, does a two extra buff, and it's a 2/2 body itself. So it's actually like more flexible that way. But of course,
Yeah.
lose out the armor.
So I think here RDU is not gonna have any choice but to just push with Unleash abusive hero power and hope that he can weave in the kill commands with the Hunted Keeper, right?
Yeah, I mean he's facing what? The board looks like 15 damage.
Yeah. And
So
you
he
can't
only
remove
has a
really.
2-turn clock, right? So he needs to win in 2 turns.
That seems to be the only way. Like you can push for 8 this turn, which is pretty good.
Yeah, 8 this turn, and then you need to. Is there any 1 mana beast? Not really, right? And I mean, Hype is obviously gonna armor up.
Yeah, there's
So-
no way he doesn't. So the insta kill is not really happening, but at least Hype is gonna have to answer your board, and by doing so, there's a chance that the patrons don't go to your face. So maybe, just maybe, you're able to stay alive. Because if Hype goes full phase, then sure, you're on a 2-turn clock. But if he has to remove your board, then there's a chance.
Yeah. Well, here we go. RDU's only move.
Is he gonna kill command? I doubt
No,
it.
abusive is the one that's actually not only a body, so it's 5 bodies to 4. It also has a condition where you actually have the minion that charges the face.
Yeah. Well, Hype is looking for the Warsong Commander or the Armor Smith or both. Didn't pick up either of them. He can't draw this turn, so I think there's a chance that RDU can take this.
Well,
still.
interestingly enough, I think the move here is to just play
Oh,
Despite.
That's
then
bite
flip
and
it, yeah.
override it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
that's the
man.
only way to put lethal, right? You do lose to Unleash the Hounds number 2 though. Like you just
You
pretty
take
much lose.
7. Yeah. Well, yeah. You'd be pretty much dead unless the hunter drew dead on kill commands.
Yeah.
But that's pretty unlikely.
But that's pretty much the best move here. Because, like, you already
Yeah.
saw Unleash the Hounds. The probability of having a second one is actually really bad. And we see that if Hype actually done that and there's 10 health, RDU can't actually kill him. Kill commands and hero powers. You only have 7 mana. 7 mana is not going to do it.
Yep. He'd have to have an extra bit of mana there to do it.
Alright.
All right. So we fully expect the override weapon.
Yep. But you
Let's see if,
attack first, of course. Don't waste the 4 damage.
4 damage is good.
Yeah, might as well take it. And now RDU needs to find exactly Unleash the Hounds. There is no other card that actually helps him here. But I mean, what? Kai's did top deck the Ice Barrier, so it's only
All right.
just.
I guess we can just keep going. Is that Unleashed? That's not Unleashed.
Well.
RDU in
what kind of
disbelief.
off-lethal?
It kind of looks like his poster. He's like, what is this? Even the poster is like, wait, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's in
Poor
so
RDU.
much pain. He's in so much pain. Just...
Yeah, it looks like the pain is physical at this point. It's not even just psychological.
Yep.
I can't help but
Just
laugh.
Why did I not draw Creeper? Like any other turn, not just. Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. You can pretty much sit there all you want, but that's it.
Yep. Well, this is the end. Well, it's the end, but I wonder what RDU is.
He's just conceding, yeah. Just like gotta take in that 1 minute to
Calm down a bit. Okay.
Calm down, I was like,
All right, I can get that. So it's like the cool factor. You need to cool down a little bit before you concede and maybe get queued up into the next match, and then still on tilt or enraged from the loss, you just kind of pilot your deck poorly.
man, 2 very unlucky games for Nihilum, I have to say.
Yeah.
Cause like the Hybrid Hunter against the Patron Warrior, it's usually not that good just because the armor Swiss, but because they were teched out, then it's actually like a bit more balanced. I might even venture to say that the Hybrid Hunter would be a bit better, but well, that's not the case because RDU just hero powered for like 4 turns straight.
But they did have pretty good RNG, I think, in the past days. So maybe that kind of compensates a little bit.
I guess the Taskmaster kind of accomplished what the armor smith is supposed to do anyways at the start too, right? Because
Yeah, remove something and mitigate damage. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's done pretty much the same thing. But in this case, it also ate up a freezing trap, which might have been a big deal. It wasn't exactly the biggest thing, but yeah, I guess you're
Yeah.
right. Man, Temple Storm with a small lead here over Nihilum. Then again, we have to mention that this has happened like many times so far in the Archon Team League Championships, where somebody gets an early lead of like 2 to 3 matches, and then the other team just equalizes. So I think what's most important is once you get to that 3 to 3 stage, if you get there, you never hope that one team goes 6-0 over their opponents. Once you get to the equal stage of like 3 wins on either side, then the matchups are starting to look very determining.
Yeah, I mean, obviously 6 decks versus 6 decks, you don't really know which one to lead in. You usually lead in with your strongest decks, like Taj lead in with the Freeze Mage and expect to win. But yeah, sometimes bad things happen, and when your opponent has 2 wins already, matchups look better at your side. So you can kind of see like an underdog effect there. Like when you're lacking behind, you can always kind of, you have a bigger percentage of guessing what your opponent's deck is playing just by like numbers and math themselves. So
Oh man, math. Hearthstone has math, Amaz.
sometimes, sometimes when you play Matter Bomber, your opponent has 6 health. You can see that 6 times equals 6.
Really? What was the math? 8 equals 11? I forget.
8 equals. I once tried to BGH a Kel'Thuzad in a tournament match, and
Right, 6 equals 7. That doesn't quite work.
sometimes there's a lot of those, but you learn. You learn.
Yeah, you learn.
Hype
You do
is
it once, right?
Yeah, Hype is gonna step up to the plate again with Druid, and Life Coach is going to be playing Paladin. His very control heavy Paladin. We saw like lay on hands, and we saw like really high ramping stuff. And Hype is of course playing the Darnassus Aspirant Druid that we see that as pretty prevalent right now, but instead of Chill and Yetis or some 4-drops, he's using Violet Teachers instead.
I think that's a great choice. I mean, it's still one of those decks that, even though the standard list could take wins, and I think Darnassus Aspirant is making it so much more consistent that Druid might actually become a tier 1 deck again at some point. But we're going to have to see how the metagame evolves in the near future. How do you think it fares against a really greedy Paladin like this? Because Life Coach, his list is on the super control side, which I find kind of amusing, since most of the Paladins we see nowadays are very mid-range oriented.
Yeah, mid-range Paladin is definitely better against Druid just because you have those early threats, right? You have more consistency. And Druids, once again, it's not known for removing minions and placing minions. They can only do one of each usually. And that's why Paladins just like kind of steamroll. Things that trade 2 for 1, such as True Silver Champion, are very key cards for the Paladin. And sometimes even just a muster for battle is enough to actually stop Druids in the tracks if they don't get a swipe. So like the Druid seems like the one always answering the questions, and if Paladins have the hardest questions, then it's just kind of very difficult to win for the Druid side.
Yep, we'll see if that changes at all. Oh, Gadgetzan Jouster in Life Coach's deck, so that's like a zombie chow. It's almost guaranteed to win.
Well, Wildgrowth does save this hand a little bit. But man, this hand is like the best 2 cards and the worst 2 cards all in one. Alright.
Well, we have to assume Life Coach takes the joust more often than not here, but he loses it and ends up with a 1-mana 1/2.
Yeah, this is the problem with these cards, right?
Yeah.
You still have to run shielded mini bots. So there's always that chance where you just don't get anything. And is that really worth it to sacrifice +1/+1 when you don't want to heal your opponent for, 5 health? Is it really that much big of a deal?
It really depends on how much you value dealing phase damage to your opponent. It's kind of like the Wrathguard argument, right? Some people say, well, it's a 2-mana 3/4, 2-mana 4/3, so that's a great card. And the question then becomes, how much do you value your own health? In the deck that would run the Wrathguard. And it turns out that the health, even though we disregard it as a resource, and you should use it up and abuse it, it seems like nowadays people are starting to consider the health a bit more valuable than it used to be. I think maybe as a result of having so much tempo damage coming in, like every class now can tempo you down. Even priests can just beat you up by turn 7.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure Hype is going to do one of his 5 drops here. Just because you just need to establish minion, right? Druid is very tempo oriented. You're not going to hero power and just pass another turn. And also on the topic of the zombie child versus Garrison Adjuster, seems like Life Coach is running more of a control paladin based on the cards we've seen yesterday.
Yeah.
And healing your opponent with a control deck doesn't seem like that much of big of a deal.
Yeah, no, I agree with you for the most part. Which is, I think your point makes a lot of sense when you consider the archetype. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this 1/2 and it looks really silly. Like 1/2 is possibly like the worst stat line. Because even like 1/1s, like Web Spinner, they actually do something, right? 1/2s are just like bad.
Hey, it's like you're paying for a wisp. Like it's like if I tell you, it's so awful.
I would play Wispy for that, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you would. You can weave it at the end of a turn or at the beginning of it.
Oh,
wow.
Drew of the taunt. It's gonna give Hype a little bit of a wall.
The little overpay on the innervate, but at the same time, what can you do, really? Now, the only drawback to playing the Druid of the Claw here is that you're guaranteed to give your opponent a True Summer Champion kill if he's got the coin with the weapon. But again, you can play Lotheb as a follow-up on turn 5, and he can't kill it. Because if he decides to kill the Druid of the Claw now, he won't have a 1/1 on the board to kill Lotheb. So you could transition to turn 6 and 7 quite nicely.
Yeah, doubly as lucky for Hyped is that Life Coach doesn't even have to choose over champion.
Right.
Probably have to go with the Aldor here, and Aldor creatures that have really, really high health are actually very detrimental to paladins. They just keep on eating your hero powers.
The genocide creatures is what you're turning them into.
Yeah, pretty much. Bears are pretty aggressive, right?
So this guy will get like 6 kills before he's gone. Now, Life Coach has to decide what he wants to do. Now, again, it's all about whether or not you value this. Like, do you expect your opponent to play another minion on the back of this? If yes, then maybe you just use your 1/1. Like, you don't have to use your 1/1. If you expect him to hero power, then you use your 1/1.
Oh man, Hype draws another dead card, but this Lotheb is going to be so detrimental. Oh wow, he's actually thinking of Savage Roar.
Can't fault him, honestly. It'll kill the 1/2 and the 3/3.
Yeah, just because your hand is so dead, right? I mean, Hype's, if he plays Lotheb right now, it's going to be so sick. So good. Life Coach effectively passes another turn.
Yeah, he can't. He has to like muster for battle to kill that 1/6 if he wants, but he can't do it if Lotheb gets played. Oh, Hyped is gonna go for it.
Yeah, thinks better of himself.
Wow, that is arguably the most awful situation Life Coach could be in at this point. Although, like, if you look at the entire game, it's lucky for him that Hyped had a pretty horrible start, because if that Innervate had been present with stronger cards like a Shredder, then things would have been maybe very different at the end of this. And Life Coach is still in pretty good shape when you consider the equality consecration that he can pull off. He can win the long game at the moment. I wonder if is there even a 6-drop in Hyped deck that's not Emperor Thorson? Sylvanas,
No.
maybe?
No, Sylvanas maybe, but
Yeah.
pretty much no, right? You would just want to wrap into your 4-drops. So it's a million 4-drops, and 4-drops are really, really good at turn 6. That's alright too.
Yeah, it lets you play a hero power. It's a bit off curve, but then again, you know, when you're already so far off curve, you just take what you get.
Exactly.
But you almost don't want to play a Shade because you expect Consecration to hit. I mean, imagine Consecration next turn, followed by the 3/2 into your Lotheb. So if you play the Shade, I think you have to kill a 3/2 with your Bear and your hero power. Oh man. Hyped with nothing but bad decisions to take.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just have to play the Shade and just hope your opponent doesn't have a Consecrate, right? I mean, like, are you gonna really just pass a turn and just? Well, I guess you could. If you play like if you draw a 4-drop along with the Shade, that's the turn 7. But I don't know. I really see playing the Shade as like the only option. It's gonna get punished, but what can you do with this hand?
You hope to find Emperor Thorson and just burst your opponent down at some point, and he's gonna go for the Shade, kill the 3/2. So he's really playing around Consecration. I have to say, I really like that play from Hyped. He knows that his only way to win is to not lose his board to a single Consecration, and there's a good chance he keeps his Lotheb here, unless Life Coach goes for the equality.
Yeah, equality doesn't seem that good, obviously.
Exactly.
The consecrate. So I would actually prefer to see something like, I don't know, Aldor instead.
Aldor is a bit slower, but at the same time, you're guaranteed to wipe the board eventually with just equality consecration. So I guess you can take your time. Life Coach has to be assuming that Hype's hand either contains an Ancient of Lore or combo pieces, just based on the speed at which this has been played, maybe a scenarios. Do they know each other's deck completely?
Not completely. They don't have
Okay.
deck lists, but they can actually watch the rebroadcast, of course.
Yeah.
So maybe they figure something out there. But oh, equality is going to come down here.
Life Coach is going to go for the play that puts him the further ahead.
Yep.
So Muster for battle will be played, forcing a swipe out of his opponent, still allowing him to coin out the Dr. Boom next turn.
Yeah, you can also have an option to concentrate and kill the shade next turn if it actually survives. And
Oh, nice pickup here by Hyped. And what's really good about this is that it'll push a lot of damage to the Paladin's face, which means your Savage Roar with swipe here, and that's a lot of burst.
yeah, that's actually exactly what Hyped wanted. Now, Hyped is actually thinking whether he wants to push face with one Savage Roar and then just combo Life Coach out afterwards. We know that might not be the best plan because Life Coach has a anti-heal bot. But if we don't know what Life Coach is holding, how much damage is this? We're
That's
pushing
exactly lethal, actually. If he ends up pushing full face, he's putting his opponent on 14.
14.
He just yeah,
seven
exactly.
damage. So he just needs one more turn and he actually can win the game. Not to mention he still has a shade that the opponent has to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. If your opponent doesn't deal with the shade, if somehow he doesn't have the consecration, then you think your Force of Nature Savage Roar is even better. And you know what? Even if the heal bot falls, that means the shade doesn't get killed immediately, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's another wave of damage coming from Hyped. Alright.
Gonna just save it. The other thing is like, I guess you have one more innervate left for the super combo, right?
Yeah, 22 damage right off the hand.
Exactly.
Easy.
Oh, just not gonna play anything good.
So we've got Emperor Thorsten and the innervate.
Yeah. What Life Coach doesn't know is that if he doesn't play Consecrate here, that shade might end up doing way too much damage.
It might end up killing you next turn, basically. There's a
Exactly.
chance that the opponent has the combo plus innervate, so that would kill you.
Well, no, I don't think you play an Innervate combo.
Right, of course. But then again, this is pretty much the only thing that's going to lose you the game at this stage, almost.
Oh, at the same time, this is like the last turn to kill the shade. Right?
Mhm.
You already
Yeah.
used inequality. The only other way to kill the shade is like for lucky boombot hits.
I could see him go for that. I could see him go for that because it's forcing the druid to answer, and then there's a chance that the boombot, even if they don't kill the shade, will weaken it enough that the consecration can finish it off, right? So even with bad
like
shade
that.
RNG.
Yeah, and then you also have like anti-heal bot to play
Yeah.
afterwards. So I actually like coin Dr. Boom the most. I don't think you have time for Emperor. Funny enough, turn 6 you can't Emperor, you actually just need to raise. But no, Life Coach disagrees. Gonna go with Emperor anyways. Try and get some value out of his cards and play more stuff.
Well, for one, we have to say that he is forcing the opponent to have the removal for this, but I don't think Hype minds it too much. I mean, at this point, I think I'd go for Shredder, Savage Roar, just push it. You're dealing 8 to your opponent, you're putting him in combo range, and next turn you're going to have maybe another minion from the Shredder. The Shade's going to be up, so maybe just pushing for damage here from Hyped.
Well, from Hype's perspective, Life Coach doesn't actually have healing. So if Hype actually holds on the Shade for one more turn, and then use the combo afterwards, Life Coach is just dead. There's like no way to stop that, right? So not revealing the Shade might be better.
Oh, you're right. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Well, we're looking at this from Hype's perspective, right?
Right. What if you go... No. I was going to say... No, there's no reason to play Savage Roar solo if you're not going to push for Shade.
Exactly. Well,
have to-
actually, there's another move you can do. You can actually trade the Emperor and play a Shredder, and then actually push
that's going to hurt.
But that does not look nice at all. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, you know that your opponent has the coin. So Tyrion Forging, can be played next turn anyway on 7. Lay on Hands could be played next turn on 7. So maybe you do have to play the trading game.
yeah. Well,
I'm hoping
see.
for Hype that he doesn't, because it feels like he just has to push here.
Yep, I'm just gonna push, and not playing the Dr. Boom might end up being the game here, huh?
If I don't see a heal bot here, this is not going to end well. There can't possibly not be a heal bot, right?
It's so. I mean, we're looking at this from the Paladin perspective, right?
Right.
Why did the Druid play a 4-mana drop? For
Yeah,
his turn eight?
his hand must be full of clunky cards that he's been holding. Like those 2 cards in his hand have been there for what, 8 turns now. Those aren't cards that he can play on curve ever.
Yeah, it's kind of like a method elimination, right?
Right.
So no Ancient of Lore because Ancient Lore would have went down. And then you can go from there. No Druid to Claw because that's the next highest creature. You can still Hero Power after that. And seems like we're gonna see an outdoor, and this might still be enough. This is actually really close.
So you got 6 damage on the board plus
Well, we got
14, so
yeah,
20.
6.
That's 24 actually.
24 is
He's
not-
just shy. Without a bit more damage, you can't push for lethal. But then again, if you look at it from Hive's perspective, he still has lethal next turn, right? Unless Tyrion comes down or something along those lines.
Well, here, do you actually just play 1 Savage Roar and just go all in? So because you have 14 damage next turn. If you play 1 Savage Roar, that's like a fireball, right? There's 3 total creatures, I guess, in a sense. So 6 plus 6 is like 12, 13 with Hero Power, and that's exactly 14.
Well, what if your opponent plays like a True Sword champion? You have to push for everything you've got, maybe.
I mean, at this point, you're not gaining back on the board. You have to
there's
find
no
lethal
way.
in 2 turns.
Right.
Yep. And you're also only staring at like 14 damage. 14 damage is not enough to kill you.
Hyped is listening to really good music, or he's talking to his own inner self.
Yep, Hyped is
He's having a debate with himself. I'm liking this.
I hope it's okay, but no, it's just gonna go all in here.
Hold the face.
Full face.
Smell wet.
Yep.
Is he trading at all? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean,
Oh,
right
that's
now
a
it's
bit of a
kind of do or
relief.
die, right? So.
So one thing to say is that Hyped also has another Force of Nature in his deck, probably, and there's another swipe also that gives him a win. There's also a Druid of the Claw that can charge. So he's got 3 outs from the top that can still help out.
No, actually, that's it.
Is he
Because,
dead?
Yeah, Savage Roar and the Hero Power. That's it.
Right, but the Paladin could heal with True Silver, right? So from his perspective, in the worst case scenario, Paladin has like True Silver for 1 heal,
But
or
what? How could Life Coach actually win this game?
well, he does have like 15. Wait, how much damage does he have? Well, the Juggles could win it.
The Jokes can win it.
I think so. unless
Oh
I'm
wow!
mistaken. I
Exactly.
think so.
Oh my.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
So if the dude. Oh no, never mind. It's gone.
I was thinking of some like Shredder into like Wrathguard or something, and then you can like consecrate and double dip the damage with the Emperor.
Oh my God, the Wrathguard comes out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately not gonna work, but
No.
it's a Flame Juggler.
Well, and that's it.
Yes, Hype's
Again.
playing the clunkiest Druid hand ever to a win against the Paladin, who seems to be holding on to the board way too aggressively. Life Coach is closing his eyes, hoping Hype doesn't have it, but there's no reason to go all in like this if you're not gonna have lethal the following turn. Life Coach knows it, and Hype's gonna seal the series just to take a lead over Nihilum. It's 3-0, and I mentioned earlier, some teams come back and equalize in the mid game. This has to happen pretty much right now.
Yeah. Well, Hype is done for the day. He's going to basically cross his fingers and rely on Gara and Eloise to seal it out. And over in Nihilum's side, not the best of starts. Each player with 1 loss each, so they will have to like regroup and
Yeah.
form a better strategy. And well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Life Coach with his very control-heavy Paladin might be the weakness of their lineup. It's just very inflexible.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think it's weak or just too rigid in its game plan and too hard to make work against a variety of decks? Because it's going to target some specific things that you might not run up into necessarily by queuing at random in this format.
Well,
And,
I mean, look at this. Look at the matchups, right? You have the Gar, the Hunter. You also have Eloise's Zoo. So control Paladin doesn't seem that good against those classes already. And then you also have the Priest. And the Priest is obviously really, really good against the Paladin. So
you play it,
seems
right?
like, yeah, it is a kind of a weakness. And not only that, Life Coach is also running the Gadgetzan Jouster, where if that was a Samichal last game, it might have been a bit different. 1-2 didn't really do anything. If it was a 2-3, it actually could have actually attacked the Druid of the Claw, right? The 1-2 couldn't have done anything with 1-6. So it just
the 1-2 just takes two hits and that was
exactly.
it. Zombie Chow might have actually been the win, you're right? Like it sounds ridiculous to say that, but it's true. Like that single joust. It's small moments like this that I guess in a game make you evaluate cards differently because you see them in action, and just the marginal joust losses. And I get the feeling a lot of people will stay away from that mechanic because of its inconsistency. Like maybe Tusk or Jouster's fine, because as you mentioned, the flexibility of it.
Right.
But you're not playing it for the joust effect, right? You're playing it at that point for the flexibility with the added benefit of getting you that clutch heal once in a while.
Right, and like speaking in the Garrison Jouster, you're not even actually getting a benefit. Does that make sense? Like, if
Yeah,
you win
right,
a joust,
right.
yeah, you get a zombie chow, and if you don't win a joust, well, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So those
You
are
get
the
a bad
parts.
gold char footman, so I guess it's not worth it.
So like the best case scenario, you get a normal one drop. I think we'll pass on that. Anyways, new decks will have to be picked here. Gara should be able to step up to the plate. It would be nice. Or actually, it's interesting because Temple Storm wants to send out Gara, so they actually have the flexibility, right, between players.
Yeah.
But if Nihilum expects that, it might be advantageous for Temple Storm to actually send Eloise and trick them up because it might be very easy to target both a priest and a hunter. I'm not really sure what does that though.
Well, Patron Warrior could probably beat both if Life Coach is playing it, because priests typically just get OTK'd no matter what you do.
Right.
Like you can wait it out, and eventually the Patron Warrior will just kill you. And Hunter doesn't exactly have a great matchup against it.
Yeah, it seems like Tasha's Druid was also really good because Druid against Hunter is really roll off, and Druid against Priest is obviously a very good matchup. But instead, we're gonna see the Hunter mirror. Man, we saw this yesterday, and it actually decided the game for RDU, where he wrote exactly the animal companions he needed, and just
I guess the luck was thrown against Thijs today. RDU threw all the good luck and gave it to his opponent, and then he threw it in Thijs' face in the first match. Never draw what you need, right?
Exactly. Well, hopefully RDU has a better draw this time around. We know that when he played against Hype's Warrior, it was pretty abysmal. His draws were just direct damage, and you don't want that early game. So hopefully for Nihilum, they can actually win the first point. Of course, Temple Storm is looking to just seal it out with a 6-0. Do you think it's going to be a 6-0?
I hope not. Well, I mean, I hope so in a way because it'll be the first one. It's super exciting, but I hope not because the soul of whoever is on the receiving end of that is just crushed forever after that point.
Oh man, I think Crip would love to see some souls get crushed.
Yeah, I'll page him once if this goes to 6-0.
He just gets so happy.
Yeah, Crip likes to see other people be miserable.
Yeah. Well, here you go. This Archon Squire looks pretty good as a tournament play.
Yeah.
Seal off all other 1-drops on Hunters, and this is exactly why you play Archon Squire, right? Is there a reasoning to play Leper Gnome to push more damage instead?
Well, I think Leper Gnome is overall more damage if you're just gonna go phase and get contested on the board in a way, but you can remove things so much more easily with the Archon Squire.
Right.
Now it all depends on what Secret Gar is playing, right? Because Explosive Trap, if you're feeding the Abusive Sergeant into this, would be pretty horrible. On the other hand, you can play your own Mad Scientist. Well, there goes.
Yeah, I do
was gonna
remember
say-
Gara playing a Bear Trap, and I think one freezing as well, but we don't know if any more comes from that. And there we go, exactly. There's the Bear Trap. We'll see if it's actually going to pay off. It is a 2-mana summon, a 3/3, and that is above curve.
Yeah, what I like about Bear Trap is that when you're on the coin and you play it on curve, it's the only trap that I'm happy to play from my hand. Because on the coin, I'm getting this 3/3. It's unlikely they can kill it by that point, and then I can usually coin out a Houndmaster on it, depending on the deck. It's a really nice card. It's funny that they made a trap that I'm happier to play from hand than not. Wow.
Wow, a 3/2 that draws a card is infinitely better than a...
Novice Engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Alright, well, both players get a secret each. We have a freezing trap. We do not really know what Gar's trap is, but it's okay, we can kind of guess.
We'll figure it out. Probably a freezing.
Alright.
I'm guessing a freezing if there's one good.
Oh, it's a... Sad days for RDO once again. Man, it's just not RDO's day, huh?
Yeah, 3-mana 1/1 with Divine Shield is infinitely worse than a Scarlet Crusader.
Oh, gotta play the Leopard Gnome here. Whoa!
You hero powered instead, doesn't want to put the minion down.
Okay. Interesting.
Gara will probably have 2 beasts on this board to use with the Houndmaster. Gets the best one against
man.
RDU.
That is so good. You get Houndmaster. Oh my god.
You can even replay that Jouster if you want.
Well,
It's still not looking amazing.
it's looking grim again for Nihilum.
Wait, what if you... No, you'd never do that.
Wait,
Kill
what do you do?
command, the 3-2.
Oh no! Just because like hunters have unleashed the hounds, you don't want to really
Yeah.
that. You don't want to try and be cute with your trap. If the trap actually, normally kills a 3-2, it's the dark bomb. So good enough.
No, Gara's got to make a decision whether he wants to play this slow or not. I mean, he's in a position where he can make that call. He could decide to play the game a bit slower.
All right. Well, there's the freezing trap, and you already have a beast on the board. I guess Misha already has taunt, but just
Yeah.
getting that buff immediately is just too good, and it also pushes for damage.
Not a bad pickup here for RDU, but again, this is not a type of board you're happy to play something like Juggler Unleash on. This is...
Oh, I think you have to.
Yeah,
so
but
far
it's not the
behind.
type of board where you're happy to do it. That's the thing. Like, you're going to do it by necessity, but there are so many circumstances where that play is very often better. But when you've got nothing else to do, it's kind of mandatory.
No, I think it's fine. I mean,
What about a
I think
double
you're too
shredder?
unhappy playing Unleash. Knife Juggler Unleash here. It deals 4 damage across the board, and if you get some lucky juggles and you get some lucky shredder, it might be good. Oh, gonna pop it first?
Yeah, probably. See if that thing hits one of the minions.
Yeah, we need 1 knife to hit. There you go. There's 1. All right.
All right, the board is clear.
All right, that's pretty good.
More than clear, actually. And now the ball is back in Gara's court. And I wouldn't like to have to handle this.
Houndmaster again. So yeah, Gar is definitely playing a super mid-range hunter with King's Elec and Houndmaster. It's very, very, very slow. And hunters, even though they're slow, they can be really fast. Quick shot into a bear trap. We'll see if Audio can actually play around this bear trap.
Yeah, I think with a board like this, it's pretty simple. I mean, you would like to trigger freezing and bear trap with the hound, either way, right?
Exactly.
Like, no matter which order it is, you have to attack with the hound first. So
Yeah,
this
that is
trap for
true.
Gara is like a second quick shot. It's killing the Mad Bomber.
Okay. Oh man.
Unless RDU... No way. No, there's no way RDU does anything like that. It's too insane. Using the Bomber to hit face and then kill commanding the 3-3 to keep the hound. It does nothing.
All right. Flying bear comes to the rescue.
Do you want to keep that 3-3? Like, do you value the 3-2 over the
Well,
kill command?
Yeah, I guess you value minions on the board. Just
Yeah.
repetitive damage.
Well, I guess that's the play. There was no unleash for Gara, no explosive trap, nothing to handle this. And RD is not looking too bad at the moment.
Not looking too good either. Wow, that is a very, very good draw. But Gar is, of course, going to play the Jaime on 6 and going to taunt it up with Houndmaster. It seems like this is RD's kind of a last chance to actually go for the face without any taunts. And here we go. Pushing
Yeah.
damage. Push more damage.
Well, he's got
Go
his
for
opponent
it.
pretty low, honestly. Like, you start picking up the quick shots, you start picking up the direct damage. An Iron Beak Owl is also immediately lethal.
Yep, Iron Beak Owl would be the best. RD's just going to pray here. And Gara, on the other hand, is going to look to set up his...
Oh, what a crazy pickup by Gara. He's going to clean up most of the board there.
But is
Oh,
that
man.
even good? That's the question.
Well, you kind of have to, because you can Houndmaster anyway, right?
That's true. Yeah, just clear everything except for...
The few things you can't. It's kind of unfortunate for him that some minions have, like, 2 effective health, and 4 in the case of Creeper. So
Exactly.
he's not really clearing everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Hard to you again with the lip bite.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
okay, nice
it's
job,
kind of
Becky.
disgusting how this series is going right now. Temple Storm is getting like super lucky with their top decks, and not only that, Nihilum is getting super unlucky with their top decks. And when you combine both of them together, that's pretty insane. Gar actually sets up lethal next turn, right? You just need to set up lethal next turn. That's
So if you
all
if you
look at.
think about this, kill command is lethal for RDU.
Yes.
Because he can then just sacrifice a Leper Gnome and hero power.
Yeah, Leopard doesn't care about taunt. Just goes face.
Don't just cheat. So there's like 3 outs left in his deck.
Oh, of course not. Like, why would he draw it?
Oh man, he's even 1 damage off of killing that high main.
I mean, yeah, but
That's so excruciating. Oh, that's it.
absolutely brutal.
RDU.
No,
Not gonna cut it.
That's not it. We just have to. Oh man, it's like we're watching the history repeat itself, right? RDO is like exactly like this in the Patreon game where you're just staring at the screen, and just so helpless.
Yeah, but at least there's no poster this time to go alongside it.
Or-
It's just RDU.
No, actually, he is the poster now.
Oh man,
Wow,
that's so meta.
4-0 for Temple Stone.
You gotta feel a little bad for Nihilum here because these games, some of them, like I don't have anything to say about Theis's gameplay. There were a few plays that we thought were really weird. That Alex draws a push face instead of killing Sylvanas, and it turned out that this was the winning play. Most of the time, like all the small subtle things that Theis did were perfect, and he lost the game. RDU had the most awful hand against Patron. Obviously, that lost him the game. The last match we saw with Paladin from Life Coach, Hyped had the worst hand possible, but Life Coach also didn't get anything worth pushing with, so he lost the game. And RDU now in the mirror match gets roadblocked by a high main. I think if there wasn't an Unleash the Hounds, there was lethal because he could have gone through the high main and then pushed for the remaining damage. Wow, that was intense, I have to say.
Oh man, those top decks, man. Temple Storm really rocking it out. But of course, we still see a priest, and we still have Eloise's Fist of Jaraxxus Zulok, right? So
Yeah.
those two, I would say those two are the weakest decks. If I took 2 weakest decks out of Temple Storm's lineup, so Nihilum just needs to bounce back and bully the weak decks with their own, and yeah, hopefully they can actually bounce this back because it's not looking good for them at all.
I mean, this is the situation where I think the entire team's morale is way low because even if you get just good matchups going forward, even assuming everything is like a 65-35 in your favor, you're still likely to lose the series, right? This is the point where even with good matchups across the board, you're still likely to lose it.
I think it's back to like phase 1 again, where Nihilum is doing so good, and then when games actually started mattering the most, like it's crunch time, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then Redemption was like so close as well. You watched the
6-5, yeah.
Did you cast the Redemption series?
No, I wasn't casting it. I couldn't actually do it that Friday, but
the
it
Redemption
was really
series
close.
was just nuts. It was just so close as well. Gosh.
Yeah, Nihilum has had it very. I mean, the thing is, they had probably the biggest confidence boost off of the early phase 1, right? Like the first 5 weeks of phase 1 were guaranteed top 2 unless they lost with less than 4 wins on the following week, and then they lost the following match, and everything had to go super wrong, and it did. And then they went through Redemption. They figured, all right, we're gonna be fine. They're in the winners match today, can get to the live finals, and yep, not happening so far. They're gonna have to pull off a crazy stunt to come back, but it's possible that they can exploit Priest and the weird Warlock from Eloise.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, for example, like Mech Shaman seems like it's really, really strong against the Wrathguard Zulok, right?
Right.
Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm just gonna play 4 Flame Imps. It doesn't really matter. But then, yeah, your health starts dwindling down. Your heart starts dwindling down. I mean, Zuloks usually trade quite a bit, right? You want to take some good trades. And if Wrathguard trades for 2 things, that's
like 6 damage to your face.
Yeah,
that's
that's
insane.
a lot of damage to your face. But I mean, Wrathguard is kind of like a weapon if you think of it another way, right? It's a weapon that doesn't lose durability if it hits the face, but if you trade, then you start taking damage as well.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, it's actually not a bad one, right? The only problem is it can get removed from a spell, whereas very often, other the weapons really can. But that retaliation, like the blowback on the Wrathguard is insane.
Of course, we can't go through a broadcast without bringing that up.
Hey, we haven't brought it up in the past 3 times I was here, but I think I had to cycle it back in.
Oh man. Speaking of stats, which stats do you think are the most relevant in Hearthstone?
You mean like across everything, like win rates from classes and everything?
Yeah, anything. Just like.
I think the odds of getting a 2-drop in your deck on average.
Well, no, like statistics of like player stats.
Players? Oh, player stats. Oh my god, that's a tough one. I want to say win rate, but that's mediocre. Just like the obvious go-to.
Yeah, I think win rate is actually the one that's just relevant. Other stats, I don't think they're relevant at all, right?
Well,
can
maybe
do-
like the percentages of the like, but this is mostly information interesting for your opponents, which is which classes do you favor most and which archetypes, right?
Right.
Things like this, I think, can be super important, but mostly like mana saturation and all, that's not very
Yeah,
impactful for me because I think most of the high level players have a really refined and tight gameplay,
exactly.
so it's hard to distinguish them.
Exactly. It's not like, for example, like a MOBA where kills are always good and
Yeah,
kills are always
of course.
bad. You know. Anyways, here's a good matchup for Nihilum again. Freeze Mage versus Zulok. When you're at 4 games down, you're gonna bound to have some good matchups to start and climb back up. But who knows? We might see some crazy stuff happening. Eloise keeping the owl because she does know it's Freeze Mage.
Yep.
And Taish doesn't want any of those because those are not Cycle, those are not Doomsayers. And hey, that's a pretty good start. Whoa!
That's
Oh, man.
insane.
Shield Bearer is back in the meta?
I blame Reynad for telling Eloise that he used to run it in his zoo.
Yeah, I think
That's what I do.
I don't know. Shield Bearer is just bad. Like, what?
You don't believe in Shield Bearer? Maybe it's because now you have to actually protect the Wrath Guard.
Oh,
You know, you actually have to not
Oh.
have that guy get punched in the
Oh.
face.
well, you could also just play another creature that's not Wrath Guard and change the Shield Bearer into something that deals damage. You know, that might be a little bit better.
Moss, what is this sorcery? You don't believe in the Shield Bearer metagame?
Shield Bearer.
Haven't you heard of Bolster Warrior? Haven't you?
Oh man, maybe in Bolster Warrior, it's a good card. Oh, who knows? That might be
Right.
crazy.
That's a 2/6 with taunt for 1 mana.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Bolster of Hogger sounds pretty nice too.
Yeah, if you can get the enough taunts on the board. All right, so it's looking like a pretty early Doomsayer for Thijs, which is going to try to just deny his opponent the tempo while he establishes the card draw.
Yeah, and actually, Eloise could skip the owl here. You're only losing a board of 2.
But it's
But-
probably worth it, right? To keep the pressure up, because the only way you win against the mage is if he can't remove your board at all, right?
Oh yeah, pressure the Freeze Mage or your Shield Bearer, man.
Oh man, this is so sad.
Oh my god.
It might actually end up
Look at
clogging your
Tash,
board.
Look at Tash. She's like, oh, Shield Bearer. That's
That
really
seems like a good
scary.
minion to leave on the board.
Oh man, look at him. He's laughing. Oh my god.
Legends speak of a cure for cancer discovered when all your board is filled up with 0 attack minions. Hence the Shield Bearer here, I
Now
think.
that is a very good draw. Actually, you know.
On curve, yeah, the
that's
Doom
okay.
Fist of Drax's stop deck is the best.
Exactly.
That would be the dream.
Well, that would be like 4 free damage. It's insane.
Will Thijs ping the imp? Oh no, I was gonna say ping the imp to deny a Doom Guard, but the acolyte can still be sacrificed into with the owl.
Yeah, exactly. So probably not. Cone of Cold is looking pretty good for Tash next turn. But yeah, I see. It feels like that. You just want to go face here. I mean, at the end of the day,
would.
Acolyte's gonna draw 2 cards no matter what, right?
Yeah, in this situation, there's nothing that you can do to deny the 2 cards. I mean, I guess if you want to unclog your board, like if you think the mage is gonna lose the acolyte by the end of next turn, and you're gonna want to play Doom Guard, maybe you sacrifice the owl to guarantee that you're gonna have room.
Nah, in the end, it's just like face damage is the most important. It doesn't really matter. Like you're overthinking, right? Freeze Mage. The only way for Zulok to beat a Freeze Mage is through damage.
Yeah,
You're not
and
gonna
as
beat
fast as
AOEs.
possible, right? Like
Yeah.
you also have to push it as early as you can.
Yeah, you're not gonna beat AOEs. Back in what? Like super early beta where Blood Imp actually just increased health of all creatures by 1.
Oh my god.
Oh, I mean, maybe we have a chance there, but not anymore.
All right, well, let's see if the Doom Guard picks up a flame. No, it's not a Fist of Draxus. It's a flame imp instead.
Let's toss out the Flame Imp and play the Doom Guard immediately. And
Push face. Unless you want to trade the 2/4 into the Acolyte to deny card draw. But again, that damage is so important.
yeah, it's all really about damage. Cause like your opponent already has like 7 cards next turn. Like giving him to 8 and deny that 1 card with 9 doesn't seem that threatening, right?
It doesn't really matter too much. Like, that 1 extra card at this point is just kind of fluff.
Yeah.
But she's thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't fault her for it. I think this is a fine move, even if she decides to trade. But yeah. So once again, we have no secret on Tasha's board, right? So
Yeah, and he can't. You know what? This shield bearer is preventing him from sacrificing the mad scientist and getting his secrets out. Maybe that's the function of the card. It's like too many people are playing mages with mad scientists. Let's just play shield bearer. Let's spend 2 turns doing nothing.
yeah, it seems like this Konakul is gonna do a lot of work though. You Konakul first, and the in-game boss actually does not summon another creature. You know, actually looking at this board, Doomsayer at 0/7 is actually really good because there's another body for Fist of Jaraxxus to miss on.
Yeah, and it's a lot of damage missed as well. Like 4 damage on a dead minion. It's kind of like when it tanks the boom bots, right? Like you're super happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly the same situation.
Whoa! Tesh feels threatened enough to play Blizzard. Okay. Just clears off the board as much as he can. 2/1s come back live.
And now he can sacrifice a mad scientist.
Oh, okay.
After all is said and done.
Makes sense. Soulfire is a lot of damage. Oh, I think this Soulfire is going in one direction. I wonder where.
Didn't they split up?
Wait, what?
You haven't heard? One Direction is splitting up.
Oh. I don't track that one direction. I only know one direction in terms of like.
Okay.
What?
It's you know what, Amaz? You haven't missed anything. It's kind of like
Oh, that face.
you know, we have like in Canada we have Justin Bieber, and One Direction is
Oh.
the pride of someone else.
Well, I'm Canadian, so I guess I should be ashamed of myself a little bit. But no, it's definitely not what I meant.
It's all right.
All right. Well,
I guess One Direction is not getting soul fired. That's what I understood from this day.
Okay. Well, back to Taj here. I think he just needs to figure out a way that he doesn't die to the most top deck cards he can,
Yeah.
possible. Because this kind of code, while it's actually freezing the Doomguard, it's pretty good. It's also spotting 2 imps for Eloise, and well, it's actually just preventing, say, 1 less damage.
7 damage, right?
Well, yeah, 7 damage.
So it's still a pretty good Cone of Cold, since you've got the Flame Strike to follow it up with.
Yeah.
Now it's all about whether, you have to get that secret up, because
Yeah.
the top decks would be way too dangerous.
Way too dangerous. Plus, Zulux usually count by oh wow.
The better
Ice
one.
Bear. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, if it's Ice Bear, then it makes sense. We see another tech card from Eloise, the Flame Juggler.
Yeah, and I love that card just because so many people are playing, you know, a hybrid hunter in metagame. A lot of like paladin decks are opening up with so many more recruits when you can get a flame juggler to deny one of them early with a ping. You know, as a mage player, you can play flame juggler in your deck. It's helping out quite a bit.
You think Flame Juggler would be a better card if it just target minions and actually did?
Yeah, of course, it would be crazy good. Actually, I think.
I'm not sure it will be too good. I think it would be fine.
I think it'd be balanced. I think it's almost the tool everybody needs to deny that I feel achy guy.
Right, exactly.
Because like
And it
everybody
doesn't
needs a
seem that
cruel
strong
task,
either.
right?
Exactly.
I wonder.
I mean,
I take it as a
compared to like
2-2,
an
right?
Iron Forge Rifleman, it's like infinite value. But Iron Forge Rifleman should really be like a 2 or 3, right?
Right. Yeah, that guy should have a bit more health, I think, to be playable.
All right. Wrathguard.
Pyroblast that thing, I say.
All right. Now, Riven Egg is a pretty good draw. It's not bad.
Yep.
But yeah, once again, Eloise is just looking to seal this game, right?
Yeah, you
This
just throw everything
Doomguard-
on the board.
Yeah, this Doomsayer might actually help Taish out a little bit here.
I mean,
Yes!
if Fist of Jaraxxus ends up hitting that Doomsayer too, and this guy is MVP.
All right. What do you have,
Nice.
Taish? Do we have an AoE? Ooh, Emperor. Oh man.
Ice blocked, fireball, that flame guard, I guess. Oh, it's so awkward.
So yeah, I think you should Ice Block, Frostbolt, and then you can actually play Acolyte as well.
Oh yeah, Frostbolt. I didn't even see the card. Yeah, no, never mind. Never mind the fireball. What am I talking about? Why would you do that? What?
No, it deals damage, right? Yeah, it deals damage.
I mean, it's 6 to the face. So I guess it kind of. Oh, this is great.
You were right, Nauseous. Oh my god.
Never mind the ice block. Don't need anything of that. There's 1 damage on the board.
Alright. Well, Eloise can still win. There's a lot of
Doomguard top
combination
deck.
cards. Oh, that's 2 damage. And oh,
This is so close.
wait, it's 1 damage off. Oh no, it's not it yet. Oh, I
No,
thought
it's not in there. It's not quite there.
Oh, I
it's
thought it was
it's one off. No, it's one off. If that flame juggler had hit the face instead of the
Oh my
Doomsayer.
god, that Doomsayer is MVP already. Actually,
Oh my god, this Doomsayer saved Thais. He doesn't know it yet.
yeah, he does
He
not.
does not know it yet.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
okay.
Emperor Ice Block.
Wow, how did Freeze Mage get into this position? Like,
I don't know. I have to assume Eloise's Zoo is pretty good at what it does.
oh, okay. So what do we do here? We Arcane Inline into a Frost Nova. That's that would be clutch. Is it?
I mean, there's a good chance he picks it up, right? Oh man, never mind. There's a good chance. So I guess you just go for Ice Block, and play the Acolyte again.
Wait. You don't
Or-
want to lose the Ice Block to just board.
Oh, this
right?
is so bad. But
So
yeah,
if you want a Frostbolt, actually just a 2/3, so that doesn't happen. You don't
so
want.
you Frostbolt to Ice Block.
Oh man. Oh, we're drawing cards now. We want to fight Ice Lance, I guess. Oh, Frost Nova is pretty good.
He's down on the top deck though.
Yeah, but what, like?
What, like? Yeah, I think you're right. No, I think I absolutely understand your train of thought there. It's, what does that do, really?
All right.
Ugh.
Hello,
Well-
keeping this soul fire is actually gonna be paying off. Oh, whoops, that's a mistake.
That didn't quite hit the mark.
Okay, well, that was a tiny bit of a mistake there. Of course, Eloise is not gonna tap. The only way she loses now is to like a top deck, you know, burst or something. So Tash is looking for the Ice Lance. Ice Lance? Oh, another chance.
More time. You can even play the Acolyte and ping it. That's
Yeah.
giving you even more time to find the lethal.
Actually, in Taish's perspective, if he Frost Novas, there's actually a chance that he doesn't get his block proc, right? We know it's gonna be like the worst case scenario, and you should actually ping the Acolyte instead.
So I guess you just Nova Acolyte and hope that... Because, I mean, it's either that or you play the second Mad Scientist for the Ice Barrier, right?
Oh, Ice Mass? That's actually good too. You can also play a... Oh, we can play a Doomsayer. I like this.
Well,
it's
Eloise
really
is going to be
close.
forced to play that Soulfire.
Man, this so far it's gonna be so good.
Oh my
Ooh,
god. That's such a bad time
The
for this.
combo! Wait a minute.
Such a bad time for it.
Alright, Soulfire.
If it hits face after the Ice Block.
No, oh yeah, Fist could hit the face, right? Yeah. Oh! Visiting the
It
face
did.
does nothing there. That's
Yeah.
pretty funny.
She's going to be stuck with an egg.
Yeah, we have an egg, but we have an Ice Barrier up. But hey, if Eloise plays 1 Soulfire, we know she probably plays 2.
She
and then
played
with
one
Fist
in
of
the early
Jurassic-
game, I think.
Yeah, Fist of
it
Jurassic
went
also-
one direction.
Oh yeah, 1 direction. Yeah, oh wait.
The first one went one direction,
Oh, yeah, that's true,
and the
that's true.
second one just
Alright,
discarded.
So, oh wow, so greedy. We're gonna tap here. Okay, I like it.
She can still win, but it's gonna take.
And Thanos. One
That's it?
time lucky. Nihilum finally picks up a game.
Sometimes lucky. Thais gets the win.
All right. Well, I mean, there are a lot of cards. To
Yeah.
be honest, that Taish could have got, but yeah.
Hell, it's about time. I think it's about time that those
about
guys
time? Okay.
get a win, right? Like they played pretty well, and now they have a chance to maybe climb back. They're up against Gara and Eloise. Now again, if Eloise goes out again, she can get benched. There's a chance that Nihilum is going to be able to take a lot of wins against the Priest. Maybe up until Life Coach is forced to bring out the slow Paladin, because that can't be a good matchup for them.
All right. It's actually quite crazy to think about, like, this whole situation, like this whole 4-1 situation came about just because Taish lost that first
Yeah.
game, right? Oh,
It snowballed out of control after that point. And it's funny because if that match had been won, like the advantage might have gone to them. And
Yeah.
the odds were really in their favor, like in that match. Like all throughout the game, every top deck we expected a lethal. And like I think 5 turns in a row, there was like a lethal waiting for Thais to be picked up. And as much as he stalled, it never came. So maybe Nihilum could get themselves a check mark on one of the players and then move on to maybe equalize the series 4-4, which would be pretty insane. It's going to be like a crazy possible reverse sweep. Do you think Temple Storm is going to send out Eloise again with the same deck and risk the bench, or try their hand at Gara?
Oh man, if Eloise comes out again and Eloise does lose the match, then Gar has to play Priest like maybe even 2 times, right? So that is
Yeah.
a very big risk. So if I'm Nihilum actually right now, I would just if I can choose a deck that can counter both, then obviously really, really good. We're looking at obviously Patron being the counter, right? So maybe just run Patron anyways. But if you really want to target Priest, I think this is a good time to do it now. So I think Druid might be a very high risk, high reward play.
Yeah, a lot of people say that Priest isn't as bad as it used to be against Druid, because I remember initially when, in the old school metagame, Priest was just horrendous. Like, you could never win.
Yeah.
But things have changed a bit. Priest is now a little bit more consistent across most classes, and Druid is one of their lesser, I guess it's less weak than it used to be against them. But the thing is, Darnassus Aspirant buffing up Druid, sorry. Does that make the matchup any more difficult for Priest?
I think it does, right?
Okay.
As a priest, you only lose to Wild Growth. And not only that, it's because if you run Aspirants in your Druid deck, you actually run more card draw, right? Because your deck is kind of like fizzles out really, really quickly.
Right.
So you're playing against Azudric, which is like a 4/4 and draws a card. We're playing Ancient of the Lord, which is 5/5 and draws 2 cards, right? So I think it's just, it's pretty bad. And of course, you don't want to Cabal an Aspirant.
It feels a little awful, I think.
Feels
right?
a little bit.
Yeah, you can't even play your Cabal for tempo if there's an Aspirant on the board, because you're forced to take it. Like, it's not an optional thing. It's not, hey, do you want to take a 2-drop? No, you're forced to.
Yeah.
So attack your less, that's yours.
Yeah, exactly. And now here's another bad matchup too, right? Warrior against Priest. It's like Warrior has like the most time to draw the combo against the Priest. Priest is just so slow, no pressure at all. Patron Warriors usually only lose to hyper aggressive decks, such as Hybrid Hunters, that have like not all 1 health minions, right? So their board is actually pretty good. They also lose to Patron is a very good deck. I'm trying to think of decks to beat it right now, but yeah, just very, very fast decks, I guess.
So it turns out, I mean, I've seen decks though, like Priest, actually able to beat Patron just because of tempo. Like, there are tempo play that can be done with a Dragon Priest. Well, he's playing Dragon Priest.
Wait. Oh yeah. Life Coach is not playing Patron. Oh yeah, that's right.
I know the Gara can play. Like, the new decks for Priests are very tempo heavy. Oh. And if, you don't get your, injured Blade Masters executed, if you get a good Dragon board at any point, it's pretty rough as a warrior to take care of that, I find.
Yeah, you're right. And I actually completely forgot that Life Coach is not playing Patron. So I think this might be a very good matchup for Gara. You might get all the tools you need. Of course, Execute.
Double weapon.
Yeah, double weapon is really good. And yeah, no dragon so far in Gara's hand. He'll be looking to find one. But Execute just makes this matchup so good, right? You just gotta make that Execute land on Ysera. And I believe that Dragon Priests are not running Mind Control right now because Mind Control is such a heavy card.
It's way too slow. Like, the metagame hasn't settled so far into the heavy control. So that card very often just loses you the game if you play it against if you draw it against some of the slower decks. The faster deck, that is.
Okay, so here do you just play a 1/4?
Honestly, I hate doing that. I mean, you can heal your guy, but your Fiery War Axe will take care of the Wormrest Agent. You're getting. If I'm going to play that 1/4, I'm going to play it next turn. But then I picked up the Dark Cultist, so why bother?
Well, Life Coach here doesn't seem like he has the best thing. Like, War Axe is okay. If you think about Priest, they don't have a 6 health creature at turn 3. Like, it's actually impossible. Well, actually, it's very possible in Gar's.
You could, but it's
with the Powered Shield, but not a 3-drop, right? So I wouldn't mind equipping this War Axe, just to
threaten,
make your opponent more awkward and actually cycle the shield block next turn. You are playing Control Warrior after all, and more stuff. But no, Life Coach does the armor up. He is playing Shield Slam, so that's the thing. Oh, here's a dragon.
All right, that's a great pickup for Gara. Finally finds himself a dragon. What's awkward about Chilma is that Chilma is a dragon, but it needs a dragon to do what it does.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw tournament players forget that they don't have the dragon and rely on the 3 damage AoE.
Yeah, the thing about Chilma is kind of cool because you can bluff your opponent too, right?
Right. They don't know.
There's no dragon. But it's actually one of the weirder cards where if Chilma is a good card, why don't people play Abomination, right? It's kind of achieving the same thing. And I think the main problem is your opponent gets to decide when it dies. You don't decide when it dies. Because when you play it, you have to wait a turn, and your opponent gets the choice.
I think the Iron Beacon is the deal, because Abomination, when you negate the effect in the mid-game, Iron Beak is already more likely to be played mid game than late game. If you're playing threats that need to be silenced, like Twilight Guardians are really problematic if you're playing against them nonstop. Minions that are buffed with Velen's Chosen eat up the silences. So it happens pretty often that Shell Mob will simply not have a silence against it, whereas A-Bomb, if it was played, probably would. Alright. Weapon play here for Life Coach. A pretty obvious play, I think. Was there another line of play that you would have considered?
You could save the coin and use the War Axe instead. But having the Despite established does help out a lot against like 5/4 creatures. Hey, like that Dragonkin Sorcerer.
Oh man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Yeah, Dragonkin Sorcerer is amazing here. I mean, next turn it's going to be like a 4/6. And then it's going to be buffed by 2 extra health, 4/8. Wait, it's pretty strong. So
And
this turn you just play something to throw to the Despite, right? So I would assume that Wimmer's Agent would be a good play here.
Yeah, you could force your opponent to use this weapon. I think that's a great idea. I mean, there's a chance that Life Coach plays it super passively.
And just doesn't do it. Just doesn't use the Despite charge.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if he's going to do anything like that. Because, I mean, you could just smash... Like, you pass your turn and hope that your opponent ends up trying to train into Zombie Chow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can maybe get that execute value on the next drop that comes after it.
Yeah, it seems like Gar is a little bit wondering if he wants to just use another move completely. Like, maybe just play Technician and Power Shield it. That could be a play.
Yeah, he definitely wants to eat up the axe, though. I think you're right. Like, he wants to throw something on the board so that Life Coach will feel like it's going to be good enough value with the Death Bite when it's not.
Mm-hmm. Brawl is pretty decent against the Dragon Priest, I would say.
Yeah, it's one of the key... I think in this matchup, it's funny how Control Warrior get absolutely wrecked with Varian Rin by Light Bomb.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's
And Brawl against Dragon Priest is also like the amazing counter. So those two classes have tools to counter each other's new archetypes in a way.
All right, I think I like the shield block here. You do want to cycle. It's a matchup where cards are actually very, very relevant, and fatigue doesn't really set in too much. I mean, like back then.
Back in the days.
Oh my god, back in the old days where priests were running double mind control, you know, Ragnaros, Zera, stuff like that. You know, it's just so heavy, and those games tend to go to fatigue, right? But I think I love the cycle here. Life Coach is also running Bash, which is a very bad card against Priest, so you really need to dig deeper.
Alright, Gara got the Death Bite out of the way, so he must be feeling pretty happy about playing the potential Dragonkin Sorcerer. But again, it's the same problem we ran into, like in this situation, is if you use your buff, sure you're cycling it, but you're wasting the potential if there's an Execute, because you basically feed him, like Dragonkin Sorcerer, like one of your biggest... Like in Dragon, it's kind of your holy champion, right? It's like your big mid-game threat. And if he's got the Execute, then it feels a little awful.
Alright, that's pretty good. And Light Bomb does show in the hand. Now, this matchup is very, very exciting because it feels like both players have the necessary tools to win, and it seems like the better player will win, right? They both have AoE clears, they both have a lot of big minions that swing the board, and they both have very premium removal, right? So like Execute with Death, Light Bomb with Brawl, and then you got Izeras and Chill Malls everywhere. It's about to see who can actually pilot you know, the battlefield to be the best. It's gonna.
I wouldn't be like I wasn't gonna be surprised if Life Coach just went for a bash weapon to kill this instead. But he values the armor way over the equipping the weapon, and the board control is also relevant to him.
Yeah, seems like in the single removal department, Warriors have it a little bit better because they not only have Shield Slam, they have Execute. So 4 removals as opposed to 2 deaths from the Priest.
I think Bash is way underrated. I've seen too many people, well, yeah, no pun intended, kind of bash it, basically.
On it?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's true because I see the card and I'm like, oh, that people. It's kind of like when people saw Dark Bomb. Like a lot of players said, of course, you know, most pros acknowledged that card was bonkers for Warlocks, but a lot of people realized that it's objectively worse than Frostbolt. But the niche that it filled in the class that it belonged to was very much needed, and I think Bash is pretty much that for Warriors in a weird way.
Yeah, I think it's fine to have like cards that are no matter what better than other class cards. So, for example, like even Fireball and Mortal Strike, right?
Yeah, on game release, right? We had that, so it's not
like something new that's oh my god, blowing your mind.
Yeah. Objectively better cards? You mean Druid of the Claw is better than Fen Creeper? No. It dies to Hemet.
That's true. There's always something. There's always something. Now, Chillmaw's gonna come down for Gara. Seems like a very good. The crowd is cheering on the top left there. Pretty cool. And once again, Chillmaw does deal 3 damage across the board when it dies, and not only 2. So I guess Life Coach here is just looking to keep the Belcher alive and use everything else to clear it. But then he does lose all his armor.
Yeah, you can play another Belcher and armor up. So I think that buys you enough time to then armor up for multiple turns in a row after this. Because what's happening is he wants to make sure he gets Ysera out on 9, right? Like that's the key. So what he's trying to do here is find a way to navigate to turn 9 in a comfortable position. And the best way to do that is probably to set up the Sludge Belcher. Maybe next turn. Like you might play the Acolyte now if you're not afraid of Cabal because it's Dragon Priest. So it really depends on what he knows about the matchup. Because it's a very young deck. Is he just gonna bash this?
Actually, Bash is actually really good. I mean, after all that analysis of like playing Ysera on that turn, just Bash is pretty.
Yeah,
easy,
but
actually.
this is like the reason this is such a good play from Life Coach is that on turn 8 he can play even if the Belcher dies now, he gets another taunt before turn 9, which protects Ysera
That's true.
from a potential bigger board.
Wow, Bash is actually pretty good there, Masters. You might be right. It actually not only saved 6 health, it actually gained 3 health as well. So it's like a 9 health swing. So you basically Pyroblast yourself for healing. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, you healing touch, right?
Yeah, so 3 mana Pyroblast yourself. Or
That sounds very good.
Yeah,
you know
that
what?
sounds-
I think Headlock might play that. Get those Moltons
oh,
out.
Handlock would definitely play that. It seems like Handlock doesn't have like a 3-drop, right?
Yeah,
It's always just like BGH, and that's pretty much
that's
it.
pretty much it. Yeah, I mean
Farsi.
that's why we've seen Demon Handlock try to attempt all the M-gang boss inclusions and all. We're doing Farce here, but again, it feels very
Yeah.
a little less impactful than you'd like.
Gar's thinking where to wait, what? I don't think Gar has anything else to play here, just like heal, I guess. I guess you can bluff like more plays.
You could just, I think you have to just go for the card draw. It's too good not to
Oh,
take.
like double clerk and just draw a card?
Draw 2 cards? Yeah, I'd take it. I in this position, I think I'd take it. I'm already somewhat ahead of the warrior on cards, like by a small margin. If I can just make sure that my card quality is at least as good as his, I think I can take the game.
Okay, well, this is not just strictly you draw 2 cards. The Acolyte Pain is going to draw a card for Life Coach now.
Great
after the
draw
cards are
here.
dropped. Yep. So everybody gets cards.
Yeah, Life Coach really picking up a nice shield block here because it's going to weave itself in perfectly with the Belcher to set up for the Ysera.
Right. Can we have a card count for these guys? I mean, we're looking at possibly a fatigue match too. So 15 right now for Gara and
15
16.
for...
So it's pretty close. It's like around the midway point.
No player has a massive edge just yet. Now, Ysera will fall to Vol'jin. Well, not quite fall, but that's a lot of health on a Vol'jin.
Yeah, exactly. And like we said, Life Coach already used Execute, but then Shield Slams could take care of it. Man, this match is just so cool. Everybody is given all the options. You can just play around stuff. It's actually the small minions, like the Belcher, the Blackwing Technician, that's actually the most problematic, right? Because they're not premium enough to have removal on it, and they actually do a lot of minion trading.
I must consider.
Yeah, tough turn here. I guess you can. One option is just to play your 2 rightmost cards, so Technician and the Twilight Guardian, and then just use the hero part. That's 9.
Yeah, that's a bit of an awkward thing with the Twilight Whelp, is in the mid game, if you don't find it early game to make a zombie chow, it's still an enabler for everything else for the rest of the game. So it stays there as a, like, you'll never play it, almost.
Exactly.
Later in the game.
Yeah, it's actually a very good good point there, because when I first looked at Twilight 12, it's like, why would I want to play a worse zombie chow? But I guess just because like more dragons were introduced and also Rimmer's Agent was introduced,
Right, of course.
then this actually happens quite a bit where Twilight Whelp is just good in your hand. It's just like a battery card.
Alright, well, I'd be surprised if we don't see any Ysera fallout now, but maybe Life Coach has other plans.
Well, you just drew the Taskmaster. It seems like there's a lot of value in Taskmaster and your Acolyte. and
Yeah.
drawing lots of cards. It also kills the Twilight Guardian, which is a big plus.
Yeah, you can even kill that leftmost technician.
Yeah, you can use. You
So
have,
yeah, this
you
is a
have-
good. So no Ysera from Life Coach would still make sense. And again, if you're playing into mind control with Ysera, you're really losing the game. With that brawl, nothing really scares you. It's just that if you give them your Ysera, you fed them a threat that you've had to answer yourself, right? And then you then have to deal with their threats on their terms, and that feels a little awful. The armor gain.
The armor gain is pretty sick. All right, here's another card. Oh, Varian Ring. All right.
Light bomb for the win. I believe in the light bomb.
Okay. We'll have to see. Yeah, Light Bomb is just so frustrating against Varian Ring. It's like mill 3 cards from your opponent, right?
Yeah, which is why I've had reservations about Varian. I don't know why. I think the card, if Light Bomb becomes like a staple, and Freeze becomes everywhere, maybe Varian is just unplayable.
It's everywhere. Ah, that's pretty funny there. Noxious.
You don't believe in it.
Yeah, well-
even Imaz doesn't believe in it. That's pretty sad. I think we've gotten to a point in Hearthstone where we need to reconsider our lives.
Well, no, it's everywhere, right? Everywhere is like hunters. That's everywhere.
But Priest might become everywhere. Maybe somebody will figure it out, right?
Okay, maybe someday.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah.
The dream is real.
All right, so guard here drew Ysera. Seems pretty bad, but it's actually pretty good because like in this board you're looking at so many small creatures. Execute and Shield Slam is probably in Life Coach's hand. Ysera is only gonna get you 1 card, and in this matchup you really want like 2 activations and stuff like that. So, but then do you really have any other move if you don't do that?
I mean, you could wait and just Light Bomb, but this board doesn't die to Light Bomb. So you're looking for... I mean, Ysera awakens almost every time. You could go for Nightmare and Shadow Word Death as well. It's a combination that could get you out of trouble if something comes up. But my question is, if Life Coach
Nope, they're just going for it.
keeps the web to enable more dragons later on,
Yeah, it's actually pretty problematic for Life Coach. He doesn't have an answer for this.
let's see if he picks it up.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's very likely, I think. Nope, not yet.
Oh, wow. That's quite unfortunate.
Counter Ysera, just play yours.
Oh, well. Oh, that doesn't feel good.
So you just don't want to see the mind control hit, right? Like, it's even worse now because you're going to give him even more activations.
Yeah, I don't think Mind Control will be in this deck, but Sylvanas Death certainly is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, seems like that's the play.
I can't see anything else. I mean, Varian Rin, what is it weak to? Like, you know it's weak to Light Bomb, of course. Like, that's pretty much a given.
Yeah, but Varian Ring also drops Life Coach down another 3 cards. So like fatigue is always like a question here now at this point. Ooh.
All right, Life Coach decides this Ysera is too valuable for my opponent. I can't let it sit there. If it wins the oh my god!
Wow.
And down goes Van Rookie.
No, that
Alright.
just lost the game.
Yeah, that's really painful.
It's like, no. Look at guards have it there. Oh man.
This is what we call getting annihilated. I don't even know how
I don't know.
Life Coach is
Life
going to recover
Coach-
from this.
Why
It's,
did Life Coach brawl after trading? Like, if you really want to kill off the Ysera, you should brawl before you trade.
the armor maybe? I don't see the point of it really.
He changed his mind in the middle. There's no way you cast brawl
Yeah, I
after
don't
the
think
trade.
it's the my team is losing factor kicking in. And now I think if he top decks ice like a shield slam, he's still in a good shape because he gets to play his own Ysera and he's usually gonna be fine.
Oh, but another Ysera card switch out. Oh man,
Yeah,
Life Coach is visibly very stressed out.
shield slam allows him to swing back the game considerably though.
But it's like another 1 card here.
Another whiff.
Yes, it won't be.
Shield Maiden BGH. That is so weak. It's a BGH on a target that doesn't even belong in that deck. Like, it's not even in. It's not even a card you're taking against your opponent. You're taking it against things that just aren't even taking slots.
So you're BGHing air, basically. That seems pretty terrible. Well, Varian has to come down here. Let's see what the armies of Stormwind bring. Oh. Oh.
Well, that's a card, I guess. Pretty useful, except it's a little late to find it.
Oh man. Nothing's working out.
So I guess you just go for that Vol'jin right now, right? And then you Shadow Word Death it.
No, not exactly, right? Nah,
You just Shadow Word Death. You don't want the health. You
No,
don't-
no. Vol'jin is premium removal. You don't just want to throw it away.
So do you expect Ysera in every Control Warrior nowadays?
Control
'Cause it was
warrior.
cut for a lot of them.
Well, I mean, Life Coach did show us these era yesterday, so
Oh, you're
I
right.
would definitely expect it.
Great point. It's basically, as you said, premium removal against it.
Yeah, I guess Shield Slam and the Despite Slam the attack does kill the Zera now, but man, 3 Zera cards already. Yeah, of course.
A little late. All the good removal is at the bottom of the deck. Can Life Coach still pile this to a win?
Yeah, I mean, right now you can actually Shield Slam the Drake, attack the Laughing Sister, re-equip the weapon, and then use Execute.
Well, I mean, you can kill Ysera with a Shield Slam with Shield Maiden, right?
Oh yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah, I thought that's really better. You want to, I mean, if you're saving the ass that long, you might as well just keep on saving it. Oh man.
So, I mean, Ysera drew 3 cards, which might be instrumental, of course, in Gara winning this.
No, I think the main reason why Gar is winning this, like, by far, is the card count. Life Coach is down
Yeah.
to like how many cards? Like 5 cards.
6. Yeah, he's got 6 left.
6
it's
cards.
pretty,
And Gara
pretty
has, like,
painful.
double the amount of cards. All right, one way for Life Coach to win is the his Ysera sticks on the board for a long time. That's really the only thing that can help. Seems like he's gonna use his double shield slam.
Is he going to keep his second Shield Slam for something else?
Whoa!
He's greedy about it. I have to
Okay.
question this, but maybe he thinks the 7/6 will attack into the Shield Maiden often enough that's worth it.
Yep. Gar's doing a pretty good job here. He identifies that this matchup is now down to a fatigue war, right? As long as he removes all of Life Coach's threats, that's it. That's the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's also posing a really big problem with those cards. Harrison Jones is useless in the matchup. It's a big body, but again, nothing that's going to swing the game in your favor. Unless it comes down to like a 1v1, both in fatigue, last minion standing is Harrison Jones. Life Coach gets good Shield Slam value, at least takes away a minion and his Valence Chosen, gets a BGH. I mean, that's not too bad. I think Life Coach, as far as the board goes, if he gets ahead on it, from his perspective, he can still win it.
Okay, I don't think so. The Vol'jin and Smite is just so good against Ysera. It's not
No,
just
from
like-
his perspective, of course.
Yeah, from his perspective. Actually, from his perspective, it's pretty bad too. The opponent's
Yeah.
holding 7 cards and you're holding 3.
What does Life Coach even like? He's got a Ragnaros in his deck left, or does he not play it? There's a Doctor Boom, I'm guessing. I'd be surprised if there wasn't.
Yeah, Dr. Boom is one of those cards where you kind of want to have. So, yeah. Well, all the options available for Gar.
Yeah, he's got almost too many of them. I mean, there's nothing on the board that's gonna stick there if he doesn't want it to.
I must consider.
And the only way Gar loses this if he's overzealous about wasting his removal.
Yeah.
I mean, you could Light Bomb here, probably. You've seen Varian Rin. That's kind of your Light Bomb target. Ysera comes out, you've got Vol'jin Smite. A big threat like Grom comes out, you've got Shadow Word Death.
Actually, yeah, there's only like 2 more threats that Life Coach
Yeah.
hasn't drawn yet, right? It's the Dr. Boom and the Grom.
Maybe he's just gonna Nova here because it's so. This is the only value you'll ever get out of it, and it acts as a Light Bomb. You don't really
Okay.
care for that 3/5 since it's gonna be a Fatigue War.
Yeah, makes sense. And Light Bomb is one of your premium removals, so
Yeah.
that does make sense.
I dream.
Nope.
Alright.
Not gonna play that ever. Thinks Life Coach.
What is Azra's gonna draw? Nightmare.
That's some Grom Burst, but she's gonna have to draw a bit more than that, and it's not gonna happen.
Yep, that's just gonna get wrecked.
A 6/12.
Casual 6/12.
I was just casually buffing my minion to 12 health. Thank you.
I think even I think Laughing Sister might have been the best card there because it doesn't get removed by anything and it's 3 repetitive damage. Oh, just gonna buff that up. Okay,
Picks up a dragon.
not bad. You kind of can't play that just yet, so
Yeah. Take your time, I guess. I mean, there's no hurry at this point. Life Coach can just take a sweet time. I mean, Gara can take a sweet time because I mean, he even put on sunglasses. I think that's a great sign, right?
Yeah,
Like he casually put on sunglasses sometime in the last. I don't know. This match has gone what 35 minutes. Priest versus Warrior. So in the last 35 minutes.
I don't like that acolyte. I think Gar can actually just play light bomb here.
Oh man, light bomb to make him draw.
Yeah.
Welcome to hell. That might be worth the light bomb. Life Coach just looks like a man who lost his entire family to a tsunami and is forced to play the card game.
I don't know. It just feels like the acolyte was definitely not right there. It also means that Life Coach can't actually use the axe now because the acolyte was too much.
Gara's basically never gonna lose anything to this axe. I don't know how
Is there
Gara's
a way
straight
that Life
face.
Coach can still win if he runs Alex Raza? I can win if he runs Alex Raza.
Well, yeah, because Alex Strauss into Grom with Nightmare is enough to push his opponent out of the game. But
I think he cut it. I don't think he has it.
You think he plays what instead? Ysera?
Yeah, he's Zera instead. If he's Zera, Varian, and Dr. Broom, and we have like what Emperor, Sylvanas hasn't been seen yet. Just how many bombs do you need? Oh, it's 2 more cards.
But honestly, if he reduces the cost of both of them,
no, that's it. It's Grommash
and
Dr. Broom.
So he wants to draw the Gromash right now and then follow it up with Dr. Boom. Whoa! There's no Grom.
There's no Grom.
There's no Grom.
There's no Grom.
There's no Grom. Actually, he might still win, right? Because look at those threats.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
Like, so small. No.
Alright, so Blackwing Corruptor on that thing and then Shadow Word Death the Dr. Boom. Just hit the Acolyte once more, right? The last one for the road.
Oh man, I don't think at this
Slow
point you really
death.
care. I don't think you care anymore. You just need to like remove all the threats. Yeah, your opponent's fatigue is gonna raise yours just way more. So I think I'll be perfectly fine with death here.
Shadow Word Death and just play a Whelp.
You don't even need to play anything, to be honest.
Just one Whelp.
I mean, sure.
Okay, maybe you can play it after. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter.
In the end.
Oh man, I feel a little bit bad now. Look at Life Coach. He's just.
Yeah, he's a dead man walking. That's definitely what's going on. He's got this look about him.
Oh. Gar's like tormenting Life Coach at this point. Okay. Now, it's time to get a lot of value.
Get 8 damage on those boombots, right?
You want to kill the Drake. You want to just one boombot kills the Drake and then you play like something else. Whoa. What's happening?
Is this how you win? I mean, there's still a chance because right now Gara can't kill those big threats from the opponent.
Yeah.
6 damage.
Okay, that's not bad. But I really disagree on like using the Despite like that. Despite is your removal.
Life Coach, when the lights go up on his webcam, it's even better. Oh yeah, no, definitely.
All right, well this is something.
4 cards left.
You know, Nightmare on the Sylvanas might be the good play. Like it might be fine. Just Nightmare and pass. Huh?
Yeah.
I was thinking about it because like the only way you can lose is to lose the damage.
I mean, Grom plus Cruel Task would kill you. But if he's been tracking cards, he knows that's not there at all.
How much isn't even the same?
Yeah, costs. He's just contests 1-1. No reason not to really. You know your opponent's just gonna push damage, and if he does, then you just Holy Nova maybe. You're gonna make the trade yourself.
Yeah, I thought it was just end the game. Like Gar just kills the Thorson with the 5/4. Holy Novas.
And Holy Novas, that's it.
Just no more thing. Yeah. No Grommash. Wow.
Is life coach actually thinking this turn true? Like, does he think there's a chance?
No, there's just no way, right?
Okay, you think he's pondering the meaning of life right now then?
Yeah,
Because he seems like he's caught up in some deep thinking right here.
it's like the RDU thing again, where just
Yeah.
it's not working out. I mean, this is your only move, so go ahead. And then Gar's just gonna give him the bad news.
All right, that's a good play though from life
That is a
coach.
good play.
He does pick up on the fact that his opponent's going to Holy Nova. And now he wants to bluff the threat.
But there's no more.
We got one chance.
So Gar here. Well,
Well,
you have all the options in the world. I mean, come on.
yeah, but play a whelp, buff a whelp.
That's good enough.
Put your opponent's Emperor Thorsten if he wants to remove it on one health and Nova, and then wait. A victory by attrition.
A victory by attrition is a victory. Well, it seems like Gar just wants to torment Life Coach a little bit more.
I wonder.
I think he's doing all he can to not break up in laughter. I feel like this is a cosplay of some sort, but I can't quite pinpoint whose it is. Life coach pushing for the face with a 5-5. He hopes he can get 2 rounds of damage in, but he knows he's not going to win this fatigue race because he's already way behind and going to die in like a few turns if his opponent decides to push. Gara has all the deck list of his opponent now. Not that it matters, but... Life coach is going to leave this, doesn't want the extra information, knows that his opponent could just wait it out if he wanted and not give it away.
That was a tough match.
Nihilum down in the dumpster, 5-1 for Temple Storm. Eloise has one deck left, that Wrathguard Zoo that we saw earlier. If that proves to be her weakness, then maybe the entire lineup from Nihilum could counter it. And I'd venture to say it's not impossible, because it's the type of deck that can definitely be so inconsistent because of the fact that it's somewhat novel and untested, unrefined, right? Like, it's got elements that aren't exactly refined. And if it turns out that it's so weak that Nihilum can reverse sweep it, then that's going to be history for Nihilum. Like, this team league, I will remember forever just because of that crazy roller coaster ride for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's do a little good news first. If Nihilum actually loses Smash, they're not out of the league yet. They go to the final Friday bracket, but they just want to get the win right now, right? And like you said, Eloise's Zulok could have a chance to just drop all the games. I mean, I feel more comfortable facing against Zulok 5 times than facing against Freeze Mage 5 times.
Right. The matchup is less polarized.
Exactly.
Like, you have less chance to just lose a 90%, 10%, right, in a specific matchup.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like, it's a more well-rounded deck. So as a result of that, your matchups tend to hover, you know, in the 65-35 range at worst. So you still stand a chance no matter what you're playing up against it very often. So we'll see exactly if Nihilum can take it. I don't know if they have tools to defeat it, because the Mech Shaman from RDU is, I want to say, like, kind of a weak point. But if you can Lava Burst or Wrathguard, maybe that's like you're kind of happy about it.
Yeah, you're fulfilling 2 things at once. You're going face and clearing the board. That's like
something you do very often against Zoo. You have to choose, like, and the Wrathguard gives you the opportunity to do both.
Yeah. Seems like the hardest matchups for Nihilum against the Zoo deck is going to be the Druid. The Paladin is going to be quite hard. And Control Warrior is actually going to be a little bit hard too, where you actually need the start. Otherwise, your opponent just runs the board. And we know that Eloise is running a little bit more heavy creatures, right? We have the Wrathguard. A Flame It into Wrathguard is 7 power on the board at turn 2. And that's a lot. That requires immediate removal. So, yeah, just going to wait a little bit longer for Nihilum to pick their deck.
Yeah, I think they also need to recover from the mental exhaustion that comes from taking 5 losses this way in this event. You know, when they're so close to maybe just getting to the finals directly after all the things they had to do to get back in a position where they could.
Wow,
Alright,
I
Life
can't
Coach
believe
is
Life Coach
back.
is queuing again. That's pretty. That's something definitely.
Yeah, maybe he needs it. Maybe he needs it for his sanity to stay sane.
All right, and it's not even that good a matchup, right?
It's all right if you can shield slam a Radguard for 32.
Yeah, I guess Bash helps, but
It's pretty sweet.
Okay, I guess Eloise is playing the Shield Bear as well, so that's
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
The Shield
you're-
Bear is actually good against Warrior, right?
You'd
You
have two
actually
weapon
keep
hits.
protective dice.
It was actually one of the things that I think made it like one of the better minions in Zoo in the first iteration of Zoo, or the first few iterations of Zoo. It protected everything, and Warrior played Fire War Axes. All the other decks, like Zoo mirror matches, were also improved by it because they would waste two attacks with the 3 attack minion into your Shield Bearer. Speaking of Bearer, this Lance Carrier is pretty sweet.
This Lance Carrier is gonna actually buff the Flame Imp next turn and kind of get the give win for you to the Flame Imp, right? Because Life Coach has to remove it twice, which is pretty sweet.
Man, 10 damage taken from a 1-drop. That sounds about balanced.
Yeah.
But then again, all she's going to be left with is a 1-2 after this, right? So we have to just put that into perspective. Sure, she's gaining a huge burst right off the bat, but it's going to fade away very soon. Like, the advantage of it.
Actually, it would be a pretty smart play to play Wolf here instead, because it lines up perfectly, right? If Life Coach plays an Armor Stuff here, and then you Lance Carry the Wolf, it can actually kill it.
Great call. He's going to... I mean, Eloise just sees that, and Life Coach is probably going to go for that play.
Well, Bash here would be perfect, but no, not quite. And down goes the Wolf, I guess.
Life Coach, though, is getting a Death Bite next turn into double... I want to point it out, like, there's a double Shield Maiden, so he's not quite out of it. Those are pretty big tempo plays. Life Coach will probably consider letting the AoE deal with this. Oh!
No, you just play.
You still have to go Death Bite, yeah.
You actually just play the one. Oh my god.
But what about Defend of Argus?
Oh,
Moss, what about Defender?
man.
You don't believe in the Defender?
Eloise actually has so much burst in her hand. You have the Soul Fire to Fist. I wonder. No.
It hurts me to see that much burst in a Zoo hand. It's crazy good.
This is pretty over.
Like, it's crazy to think that the Lance Carrier is giving Zoo another Abusive Sergeant, but better. When they get the initiative on the board, they can maintain it even further. Just like they're pushing Face Hunter-like damage very early because of that Lance Carrier.
Right. And of course, the dream for Lance Carrier is that the minion does survive, so the buff stays around.
Yeah, exactly. So you're getting so much value out of it. But against weapon classes, it's pretty insane.
Life Coach really needs to hit this Flame Imp. It doesn't look good, but you have to do it. You have to hit this Flame Imp.
Although I guess if you play Belcher, you can probably tank the Flame Imp with it, and then play Shield Maiden and keep your weapon.
Yeah, just wait for Soulfire and Fist to happen.
Well, it'll still run to the slime, right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, this play from Life Coach is still pretty okay.
Oh man. Absolutely.
Take that.
6 damage. Life Coach is
Bash,
not
bash,
17.
bash.
No
Nope, not
bash.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage.
We have to do it. There's no other choice.
But this is where he stabilizes, I think.
Yeah,
Unless the
Eloise
Doom
needs a
Guard gets picked up.
3-drop. 3-drop would be perfect here. That's really good too.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
If it juggles, that would be insane.
If it juggles, I'm going to cry for Life Coach tonight.
Okay.
A 6-1. Wait, is that the worst that's ever happened? I've seen 6-2.
6-1 is... Yeah, it's the worst. There's no 6-0s, so obviously 6-1 is the worst.
Wow. Nice job, Juggler.
You shall not pass.
So how does this work? Does Death Rattle trigger before the discard? I'd imagine not.
No, fist first.
Okay. So Shield Maiden comes down. It'll weather what damage is already on the board, but if she picks up...
Okay, that's something that's a little bit of hope. So basically, Life Coach needs to stall until he gets a Brawl.
Or Bash. I mean, Bash is such a crazy swing card.
Bash is
this
really
matchup.
good in
Yeah.
this matchup, yes. That's true.
Let's see what she picks up. It's the Doom Guard. Somebody's gonna cry. No, it's not. And
Oh.
wow.
Actually, Argus here is not that good. Because, like, Shield Bear is...
You're right. You're supposed to protect your things, but
Exactly.
then Defender does the opposite. You know what I find funny about that guy is that he actually doesn't protect anyone, right? Like, his shield is hidden behind friendly lines. It actually doesn't defend anybody. He gives people shields. I vote that we change the battle cry of the guy to defend me, because he really does nothing. So Imgang boss is probably the better play. I mean, if you're looking for raw damage, maybe you play the defender.
Raw damage,
but
yes, definitely. But judging by this board position, it seems like MCAN boss might be a bit better.
Yeah.
Not really sure, because like you're kind of running out of time, right?
Yeah, 75 seconds in a turn.
Alright, let's go for that. The best card for Life Coach would probably be either Bash or Despite. Despite actually removes this shield bearer. No, not that.
Not the best of cards, but after another Shield Maiden, I think you're going to feel a little safer, because now you can start using those 5/5s as trading tools, right?
Oh, actually, I think you use the War Axe here, just to remove the board.
So Shield Block, War Axe, Armor Up. Actually, yeah, you're right. That's going to give you a much better curve, and you get 7 armor instead of just the 5.
And I think you actually Shield Block first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you find a Bash, you would play that one instead.
I really like Bash. I just love that card so much. I don't know why. Like this card just seems super well designed. All right, let's see if.
Yeah, Shield Block first.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Armor is negligible, I think, right now. Your opponent is always going to remove all your armor.
If you pick up a Shield Slam, would you use that instead of the armor?
Yes, you just.
Of course.
You have to remove everything. So if you pick up a Shield Slam, you can actually remove the MCAN boss. Well, kinda. But. Oh no.
I mean, if he armors up, he's gonna be on 13 health, right? So Doomguard wouldn't kill him just yet.
Okay, let's see here.
He doesn't Shield Block first, Shield Blocks afterwards. Life Coach is...
The rope is running out! The rope is running out!
Oh!
Slam! Yep.
He got it.
Oh,
He got it off. He got it off. All right.
Oh man.
He didn't remove that much damage from the board. Actually, he removed 1 and didn't really get the extra 2 armor he could have gotten.
Ooh.
Nice pick up by Eloise. Perfectly on curve. Mix of raw damage.
But it's still up for this game is still up for grabs. Even though it's looking really bad for Life Coach, he still has 1 more Shield Maiden. Oh no, not the card we want to see.
Yeah, he's looking for his removal pieces right now. That and anything that will give him health.
Anything that stalls the game. You even hit the Shield Maiden. Or do you actually trade the Shield Maiden against... Oh man, this is tough.
You have to do it, like, I think you have to do it against a 2/2 to play for value.
Oh man, you're playing for value now. Your health is dwindling down.
Doomguard is not lethal yet.
Oh!
1 off lethal.
Oh man!
1 off lethal. If
However,
Eloise picks up that
Soulfire.
Soulfire.
Any of those would do it. Oh! That's also really good, actually. That's also
Can
really...
Life Coach do this? Brawl? Not even... Brawl doesn't do it, because he's still dead.
So we need Varian Rin to double Belcher, right?
Varian Rin can't be played on 9, so...
Oh, whoops.
Belcher number 2, I guess.
Belcher is one way to do it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, Belcher number 2 is actually all that saves him. I think. Wait, Alex Straza? No,
There's no Alex Straza in the
he
deck.
doesn't play Alex, that's right. Ysera's gonna be the top deck, right?
No, that's it. That's it.
Oh,
Temple
Life
Storm,
Coach.
it's going through to the finale, and Nihilum drops short once again, and it's going to try again in Friday's match. But yeah, congratulations, Temple Storm. You're gonna make
Crazy series. That was the most crushing victory I think I've seen from any of the matches that I've ever seen in Archon Team League so far. This is
absolutely so crushing.
Yeah, well, that's a bit unfortunate for Nihilum. Hopefully, they get a better lineup, tomorrow. So we're going to be seeing Team Archon versus Force and Boys after this, if I'm not mistaken, which will determine who gets to play the deciding match, right? To get to the finale.
Yeah, not only does that determine the deciding match, it also determines who exits the Archon Team League early. Well, not early. They'll come out at 6th place. I mean, it's not a bad standing, but of course, you wish to go a little bit further than that, right?
Yeah, you want to get to that top 3. Not even the top 4. You want to get to that top 3 because that's where the prizes are. For the for the fame purpose, I guess you could go top 4 and say I was really close to the prize pool, but ultimately you're looking to get that podium placement in the tournament. All right, well, I guess we'll be taking a short break, guys, and then we'll be back with Force and Boars versus Team Archon. That was a really good match. I'm pretty happy to have seen it.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll be back after the break, guys. Don't go anywhere.